everyone, today is Friday the 16th of November 2018. This is The Gap, episode 445. I'm Lawrie. Joab here. What are you fucking about?
445, that's crazy.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of episodes. It's a lot of episodes.
How are you feeling after last night?
Not bad. I reckon those beers, there's one in particular. What was it, like the Senor Spicy Ghost?
Right.
That I had. I can tell. I think I can tell. At 35 years of age, I can now tell upon tasting a beer whether or not it's going to give me a hangover. Because I only get a hangover from beers that, like certain beers. You know how it is, right? Everyone says it's preservatives, but I haven't seen any science behind it, so I don't want to repeat the what could be a myth. But there is a taste. There's definitely a taste to beers that will give me a hangover, and this Ghost. I mean, it's supposed to, isn't a Ghost supposed to be a fucking sour ale, right? And this didn't taste like an ale at all. It tasted like a lager with corn chips mashed into it, and it just, bleh, no thank you. But when we went to the Japanese place, it was all sake and whiskey. So I think that was good. That helped me dodge some bad vibes. Because I don't get hungover on whiskey unless I go way overboard.
Also, there was plenty of food to sort of soak that up.
That's true. Yeah, there was a fucking ton of food. That was actually a really good place. I really liked that place.
It was cheap as shit by the end because you ended up getting a discount because it was your birthday.
Yeah,
and so because they had this banquet menu, or this you get it, and basically depending on how many people there are, they charge you per person.
Yeah,
and the guy was explaining it to the person that was basically ordering for our table.
Yeah,
and as he's explaining it, I'm thinking, all right, this is a lot of food. But then he finishes, and I started going through the menu and figuring it out in my head. And I'm like, it seems like it's cheaper if we just buy it individually.
Yeah.
And then Gerald fucking whips out his calculator and starts working it all out. And he's like, oh yeah, it actually is cheaper if you just order it individually. So we just, rather than getting this $55 banquet thing for 8 people, we just ordered a shitload of food. And then by the end of the night, it was $40 a person or something. It was ridiculous for food and drinks.
Awesome. That is awesome. That's it. Because they wiped out my entire my bill, right? They just wiped out an eighth of the fucking bill or something, which is crazy.
Yeah, it was 60 or 80. It wasn't even your portion. It was more than your portion.
That's bananas. That's awesome. Plus, I got they brought out a free birthday sake, and they went all out. That place is awesome. It's not even on Google yet. You can't go see it on Google Maps yet because I wrote a review for it on Google Reviews while I was hammered, and apparently I reviewed the wrong place.
Yeah,
it's someplace on the Gold Coast.
You're way off.
Fucking whatever, close enough.
Yeah, right.
Great place, 5 stars. Yeah, good times. Yeah, it was good though. And they had 12-year Yamazaki, which I really like. It's a really good whiskey, and that's about it. Good times. Yeah, it was good fun, and we became the finger licking crew. I don't know if you can see it, but it says finger licking good.
It's upside down. There you go.
Oh shit. I don't know. Anyway, I got these necklaces. There's a youth charity foundation with KFC, who should definitely sponsor us. Just throwing that out there.
This is a weekly thing for us at this stage.
They had a youth charity thing, and so if you bought this KFC merch, a bunch of it would go to their foundation. And so I bought one of these for you and me. I was going to give it to you yours when we were at PAX, and then obviously I didn't wind up going to PAX. And then I saw the other boys playing with the KFC clan tag, and I'm like, well, in that case, we'll all be KFC crew. And Yeah, it's good. Good cause, all that kind of stuff. But you can't wear fake gold. You're fucking sensitive. Yeah, you're a bit sensitive, aren't you,
I was
Tommy?
wearing it last night. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and now you got a giant rash around your neck. You can see it.
Can you?
It's all red. Yeah.
Ah.
Oh no, that's his shirt. All these jokes that won't fly for the 99% of people who actually listen to our podcast instead of watching on YouTube.
Yeah.
Good times, good times. Anyway, so video games.
Yeah, there's a lot
Yes,
this
there is.
week.
Yes,
There is a ton. Let's start off with where do we start, man? Great Hero's Beard. Let's start at the bottom.
Okay.
Or
Yep.
if we want to start at the bottom, we go Fallout. Oh,
Oh,
Great Hero's Beard is it's like a $2, $1 game on Steam. It's basically like a mix between an idle game and a clicker, but without
I don't know.
but without the idling and clicking. It's so basically you are this hero character. There are a bunch of levels that you need to progress through. Each level has certain amount of like enemies you need to progress through, like a couple different waves, and each time you sort of kill an enemy, you get a item off them or a number of items, and then you use those items to upgrade your character, and that is the loop. You keep progressing through the game, so you can get things like armor, different types of weapons, trinkets, shields, and then each of them have like different parameters on there. Some of them will do a certain amount of damage. Maybe it gives you health increase, speed increase. There could be like defense increases and critical chance percentages, things like that. And then there's also an XP in the game as well. So each time you kill something, you get experience and you level up your character. Every time you level up, you get to put a point into a stat. And there's a bunch of different stats in the game: HP, attack, speed, crit chance, so on so, defense. And I think it's every 3 levels you get to put a point into a special ability as well. And so there's like maybe 10 different abilities in the game. They can range from things like increasing your attack and speed. There's like defense stuff. There are every couple of hits you'll get a chance to maybe hit them multiple times, like 4 in a row. If you die, there's like a 20% chance you get resurrected again. Like just different types of things you can sort of put these points into. And yeah, it's basically you initiate a level and you don't do anything. You kind of just sit there and idle and watch this dude hit all the enemies and then try and beat the wave. And if you don't beat the wave, then you just look at your items that you've gotten from killing whatever you killed, find out what's maybe the best. You can put them on your character if you want to. If they're no good, you junk them. And then eventually, if you junk a certain amount of items, then it fills up like this treasure box. You click on the treasure box and it gives you like a random reward. Sometimes it'll be like a couple of stat points. Sometimes it could be a ability point. Other times it could be legendary gear. And so that's the sort of like thing to keep you going when you're not really making any progress in each level. Yeah, and it's pretty basic in terms of like what you need to do. You're pretty much just managing stat points and abilities and gear from then on. The sort of what makes a difference from like a normal idle game or a clicker is that with a clicker you're either clicking on the screen or getting things to make you click more, whereas this is like you're getting things to make you hit harder or to survive longer. But the actual game, like the gamey part of it, is really short bursts. You kind of playing, at least the bits that I've played, are a couple of minutes long. Maybe they can range from 2 minutes to 3 or 4 minutes, that type of thing, each level. And so you're not really having these huge breaks in between where you're like, oh, I'm going to play for 5 minutes, level up all my stuff, and then disappear for an hour and then come back. Like, it's not the type of game where you leave it running in the background, because you actually need to progress and do things each wave, or each time you die. It's like, oh, I need to put new gear on, or I need to go to the next level and go to the next wave of enemies, or like the actual map that you can go through. Sometimes it'll branch off and be like, all right, you can go in this direction and try and take on this wave of enemies, or this one might be just like a super boss and you go and battle that. So there's like a bit more involvement. It's not like you can just let it run, as far as I'm aware at the moment, like the part that I'm up to.
So you're actually playing it right now then, in the background?
No, I'm not playing it right now, because I'd be moving around and whatnot.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like a bit more involved. Like there is the idle aspect of you being like, all right, I'm sitting here now and watching my dude hit things, but it's really short bursts and it sort of keeps you going, which is a different way to, I guess, approach those types of games, because the ones we've played in the past are pretty much like you do your thing and then you leave and you come back later on and kind of see where you're at. Whereas this one, it's like if you leave, you kind of come back to your screen, you haven't progressed any further because your guy's waiting for you to upgrade him or put new gear on him or anything like that. So yeah, the game looks decent. Like it's got that art style, same sort of art style as like what was that one, like Cuphead type thing, like not like this cartoony old school type style, but it's really vibrant, bright colors to it. It's not like this dull sort of, what was that, like a 30s or 40s sort of aesthetic to it. This is definitely like a lot prettier, like in terms of the way it looks. Like it's got a nice bright colors popping type thing going for it. There is like a reset system as well, which is what a lot of these idle/click games do. Is you get to a point where you want to reset, and then that you start from scratch again, but you get some sort of bonus. And in this particular case, the game gives you experience bonuses and things like that, so that you can actually start from scratch again and then work your way through, but you're doing it quicker. And yeah, things like that. So I've only reset once, and I've only, I didn't have to. I just got to the point where I was like, oh, I'm going to see what kind of this does, and then go from there. So yeah, I've put a little bit of time into it. Let me just check. Not a huge amount, probably. Okay, I think that I've left it running for a little bit. It says 7 hours. But I feel like I've left it running at some stage.
And you don't need to leave it running.
No, because it was the type of game where I'd be watching basketball, or I'd be playing something else, like in the background, like, oh, Call of Duty's running. And so I'd jump into like a Call of Duty match, and while I was in the lobby waiting for the game to start, I'd be in the background like doing my upgrading my character in what's it called, Great Heroes Beard. It's quite a new game. It only just came out, I think it was last month, within the last maybe 2 or 3 weeks, the 18th of October, so about a month ago. And yeah, it's decent, it's alright. It had some good reviews and it was cheap, so I was like, I'll check it out, because it was in that lull of I had literally nothing to play for like 2 days. I was like, I'm gonna check out an indie game.
It's ludicrous, nothing to play. Amazing.
Let's see what's going on. So yeah, it's fun. It's cheap, and I like checking out weird clickers every once in a while to see how that genre is going and what's the latest and greatest. But nothing will ever beat the cookie clicker.
This isn't even one though, is it? Like, do you really feel like, from everything you said, it doesn't even? It seems like it's sort of just adjacent to the concept. It'd be like calling fucking Overwatch a MOBA, right? I guess.
Yeah.
Not really. I see how you wound up there, but yeah, like it seems like it draws on ideas from the clicker, but is fundamentally pretty different, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I guess to me, the clicker genre, the idle portion is a pretty significant like factor in it.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if it gets to that stage at some point where it's like you're fighting 63 waves of enemies, and it's like, oh, okay, now I'm gonna go leave the fucking game running.
Yeah, right.
Or if it's like there's actually an end game or something like that. I just don't know at this point.
If you've already reset once and you haven't found it, I'd be fucking surprised if there was.
Oh no, I just reset because it was like you get 50% extra XP and something else. I can't remember. There's like you'll get to points in the game where it's like you rescue people and then they give you bonuses as well.
Yeah.
So there's that part of it, but I haven't really dived into like what's the end game for this. Like how does it work? But like the Steam reviews are generally pretty accurate for a user reviewed system in terms of this sort of stuff. Like generally they'll be like, this is overwhelmingly positive, and it's because they're usually a good game. And I think that one in particular was, I think it was okay. Let me check quickly. Yeah, it says very positive, 400 reviews. So
okay,
that's probably why I clicked on it. Anyway,
cool.
It's called Great Heroes Beard. It's on Steam.
Nice.
Yeah.
What else have we got?
I've got Blackout here. Question mark. I don't think I put that in. Did you?
I put that in because you were talking about it last night. There's a new gun or some shit.
Oh, there was an update that went through. Yeah, again, they're still patching that game. I think there was another patch last night that went through. I checked it this morning. But they put in a new weapon, and it is a melee one-shot knife, I think it is.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the machete. They added the machete.
Yeah, so this would be the one from the multiplayer, right? Where you just stab someone.
From zombies or whatever, yeah? You know how you can buy the machete in zombies?
Yeah, right. Oh, okay.
I assume it's the same dealio, right?
Probably.
I don't know why everyone doesn't have a knife all the fucking time. It's my favorite thing. I've been knifing everyone in Battlefield. I will literally sacrifice a perfectly good, like, cap just to go get my fucking, like, stab on in Battlefield 5. So, yeah, I hate this punching shit in Blackout. But anyway, have you found a machete yet? Have you played it?
No, I haven't played the update.
Okay. But you've still been playing it, though.
Yeah, I've been jumping in. Played a bunch of Blackout. Still playing like multiplayer every once in a while. Just jumping in and playing like team deathmatch.
Has the meta changed since I guess the last time I played? I mean, it seems like I guess it seems like you just pray for circle luck, right? And see what you can do, right? You land at one of the spots, but every drop's a hot drop, so. Yeah, I guess the meta is sort of get lucky or get quick, right? We spent a lot of games, last time I played, we spent a lot of games in a row just running towards the circle.
Yeah, I think that's like Battle Royale though, isn't it?
Is it though? I mean, I feel like by the end of PUBG, we did not spend a lot, like maybe 1 in 10 games we would spend having to run an entire game towards the circle. I think they got to do something about vehicles. That's what it is. Get rid of the fucking rockets or something. You can shoot down a fucking helicopter with guns. So I don't think rockets are a necessity. Because a rocket on a quad bike is just absolutely devastating. It's a massive fucking dick punch. If you got rid of the ability to rocket a quad bike though, then nobody would ever pick up the rocket launcher. So like I think they got to do something about the like, just get rid of the rocket launchers altogether and do something to make them make vehicles a bit more viable. Because, otherwise, like, you just don't want to get on a fucking.
I don't get on vehicles unless I'm like desperate,
right? like it's a terrible plan. But it's a sound design thing, right? Like, it is related to the game's sound design. You can hear a truck from fucking halfway across the map. So, yeah, it's like you're sort of fucked.
Yeah, it's very different in PUBG, where PUBG is like a vehicle is a necessity.
Yeah,
like most of the time. Whereas in this, I feel safer running around. On the ground.
Like it's not as bad because the map is absolutely smaller. It's like Sandhawk size, but yeah, I think they got to do something, man, to make vehicles viable. Because unless they're gonna like rebalance the fucking circle, because I just feel like they don't have a good balance there. Too often, if you spend like 2 circles running into the next circle, like if you spend the entirety, if you arrive at a circle just in time to start running for the next circle, your path to victory is so fucking narrow. You are set up to lose. So it really heavily favors whoever the fuck happen to land in the circle. I think it's probably my biggest criticism of Blackout is that idea that like being circle fucked in Blackout is so much more significant than it is in PUBG or Fortnite. because like it's not just the fact that you know obviously power through all your fucking heals on your run in if you happen to lag behind, like behind the wall. The other thing is that like everyone else who's running into the circle also converges on the same fucking location. Like the fucking map is like a square, and the circle is up in the top right hand corner, and everyone down in the like other three quadrants of the fucking map all come in, right? And as it closes, their only options are to like converge, and so it's worse. Like the people who landed in the correct quadrant, they don't have to take any fights, so they enter the last few circles fucking fully stocked on bandages, full armor, all that kind of shit. They're fucking sweet, while everyone else here has gone into a fucking dozen fights and might be entering the last circle with like 2 fucking bandages left and a fucking fucked up level 1 armor. Like,
yeah, I get what you're saying, but like you run into then situations where I think PUBG has done something with their circle algorithm to stop it, like to have it more central focused or something. Whereas I feel like in Blackout, the circles that you get, I've had finishes I feel like all over the map. Whereas in PUBG, I've had like what fucking 2 Zaki finishes. The 1,500 games that I've played in that, and it's like,
and I've won them both.
Yeah, and I've won them both, like 100% win rate in Zaki. So I'm always like, yeah, let's go to fucking Zaki for once. So there's definitely something going on between those 2 algorithms. I know that PUBG does a thing where it's in certain circles it favors land over water. Blackout's obviously doing the thing where it favors fucking half the map being outside the circle for most of it, because you get there and you're like, well, half the circle's out, where this is going to be interesting. But at least like it's moving like a lot, like around the entire map. I feel like I've been like, I get Hydro Dam finishes, I get Nuketown finishes, down the bottom right where there's like nothing, it finishes there a bunch as well. I've had estate finishes, or the top left, like it seems to go everywhere, whereas in PUBG it was kind of like, I don't know what they were doing, but it was just, it would avoid the outsides quite a bit.
But that was a specific change they made. They deliberately like did that.
That was because in the pro games everyone would just hide in the water, so they were like, well, we got to get rid of that. But then it meant that half the map wasn't being used.
No, that wasn't why. It was because, well, yeah, that was it. But it was because, like, yeah, it's also like it's a viable strategy if the game is going to end on the fucking coast. Like,
sure,
why wouldn't you hide in fucking water? Like, that makes sense.
But I think the thing was like a third of that map was water, or not a third, but a decent chunk.
The other thing about it, like the other reason for it, was that like the map was fucking huge, and so being diagonaled on the map meant you were basically fucked without a car, or you were actually fucked without a car. And yeah, like I totally get why they centralized. There's definitely a middle ground between what Blackout has right now and what PUBG has become that I think would work. Like, yeah, it's just as it is right now. I don't want to play a game where I keep fucking having to run the entire fucking game. You literally know you're going to lose. Like,
well, maybe that's why you drop at Rivertown. Like, all right, I'm central. Fuck it. As opposed to us, where we tend to drop a lot of the outside of the maps, and that's why we're doing our running, right? We like to drop Hydro, or we like to drop Turbine, or Factory, or Construction, and these are all places that are around. Like, we don't drop. I guess sometimes we go Array, sometimes Fracking. Like, but how many times have we dropped to Firing Range or Rivertown? Like, not often.
Twice.
I've been dropping in Rivertown in solos, and that place is pretty hectic. Like, there's usually a lot of people there. But if I play the way that I play PUBG, which is I drop as far away as I can from the circle, from the flight path, then generally, every maybe 1 out of 3 games I'm landing with other people.
Yeah.
But usually we're alone. So I guess it's because our playstyle as well.
Yeah, true. I mean, you just don't want to fucking roll the dice on who's going to pick up gun up first.
Yeah.
I think it's such a shitty fucking way to start.
Yeah.
And you're not powerful enough with your fucking fists to actually like that's not a viable technique. You can't like run on a person and try to punch them to death before they find a gun before you.
Sure.
So yeah, like I don't think I think our technique of attempting to not land with a bunch of other cunts is 100% the best fucking plan, because you're rolling the dice doing it any other way. I don't know.
Anyway, yeah. I guess the machete's there now, right? So maybe we check that out.
You still got to pick it up. I'm definitely keen for Small Blackout.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it as a game. I just think there are a couple of things that need to be fixed.
So I think we talked about last week, 9 bangs were removed. Which were the ones where the longer you cook them, the more flashes they sort of let off. So you'd cook them for 1 second, you'd throw them, it'd explode and let off a flash. But if you held them for 3 seconds, it let off all these tiny grenades and would flash people longer, or it'd go for, like, the effect would go for longer. What they've done is they've removed 9 bangs. They've changed the way concussion grenades work now, so they now have a flash effect, as far as I've read. I haven't tried it, but I thought that's what I read. And so they're trying to put that in there. I hope I'm right.
I think that's a good idea. It's interesting that this had come up, because like all of this had come up because it's been something I've been thinking about a lot. It's been raised again. Overwatch is going through a bit of a thing right now. Seagull, who's that amazing Genji player from like way back at the start of the game, the dude who just fucking could like solo an entire enemy team, sort of shit. Like, he just fucking wreck cunts. But he released a pretty big, like reasonably long, like state of the game style video this morning, and in it he was talking about like how a lot of the time you just don't have fun playing Overwatch. He doesn't have fun playing Overwatch, and he thinks a lot of people don't have fun playing Overwatch. Not like they do have fun, but only half the time. There's a coin flip as to whether or not you're going to get a good game, or whether or not you're going to have a game where you lumped in with a bunch of dickheads and you just sort of have to fucking wait it out. A bunch of people who don't, switch off heroes that aren't working, or don't know counters, or don't know whatever the fuck, and can't really do stuff. And then he went into a bunch of other stuff that he thinks is wrong with it. And one of the things he was talking about is this idea of hard CC, like the stuns in the game, and how it's bad in first-person games. And other people were talking about it on Twitter as well, and it just reminded me, because I think Call of Duty does it so well with the concussion grenade, and I think adding a little bit of flash, like, I think the slow mechanic is super annoying, right? But it's so much better than being 100% stunned in place, and unable to move at all. And I think it really, like, definitely incentivizes that concept. We were talking about last week, and I think I said I'd love to see them bring the flash, the 9 bang back as flashes only, no like slow, no stun at all.
Yeah.
Like, just bring the 9 bangs back and do all visual, because I think it needs a visual flashbang. I think that would be that is a really good thing. Adding a concussion grenade, I don't know, man.
I think I didn't think that happened. I think that was me and you talking, and I've somehow interpreted that as as an update. So I think I was wrong about that. I don't think the flash grenade was added to concussion. I know they increased the stat count so you can carry more concussion grenades, and they buffed it in terms of being able to, like, I think you can throw it further now as well. But I think the thing I was thinking about the flashing stuff was maybe just me and you talking, like, thinking about design changes.
Yeah, I think I do remember. Yeah, we were sort of talking about that kind of stuff. yeah, like I don't know. I think that I love the fact that they keep fucking working on making it better. Like their approach to it is really good. It's really healthy. Even a month out, they're still going strong with weekly updates and stuff like that. And I think that's good. And the communication is fantastic.
Like literally daily updates. I get up in the morning and I go to Reddit and check out the latest Treyarch posts. Like the Treyarch have an official account in Reddit, and they just post an update every morning. If there's no patch, then it's here's what we're working on the patch. Like here's what we're thinking about. Like their communication, like I said every week, their communication is so on point. Like
so much.
The patch for today is blackout changes on PC, multiplayer changes. They changed SMGs, tactical rifles, sniper rifles, stability fixes, just generally overall. Zombie updates, like a huge list. They put in some quality of life changes into blackout, things like perk activation feedback in the HUD. So generally what you do is you go into your menu, your backpack, press it, and then back out. I'm guessing now they've got something on there to show that that's happening.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so bug fixes. You can close stashes now. So before you could open them, now you can close them. I guess you could set them up as traps.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's cool. I like that. Yeah, that's good. That is good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, their communication's on point, extremely on point, and it's probably something we'll talk about a bit later. Again, we'll bring up.
Yeah, 100%. Cool. All right. Well, yeah, you didn't even put Blackout in to talk about it. I just figured
I'll probably jump in tonight or at some stage. Like I have been playing it, but I've been playing solo.
Another game. Oh yeah, right.
I've been playing solo and I've been playing multiplayer as well. I'm still like digging a bit of multiplayer. I know it's not like the thing people are interested in, but I'm still having fun every once in a while playing a couple of rounds, just unlocking things. That's cool.
Cool.
All right, Just Cause 4.
Just Cause 4. We both went and saw this last week. You went into an afternoon session. I went to a morning session. Yeah, this is pretty interesting. It was a pretty interesting demo. I felt like there were not a lot of answers to questions that I had, and so I just had to sort of work shit out by dicking around in it. Anyway, it started out with a bit of a from the get-go of the game, like near the start of the game.
Yep. Really
early on, as far as I was told, and you do a couple of we were sort of unleashed to do whatever the fuck we wanted in the game world.
Yeah.
But we were told we should probably do a certain couple of missions, and yeah, the storytelling in that is awful. I don't know any other way to say it. I think I don't know what the fuck is going on, but the script is bad. They talk dumb shit all the time.
Yeah.
And it's not even cheesy action movie bad. It's not I think for me, Just Cause 2 is probably the pinnacle of this, but it always made me think of Antonio Banderas in that movie where he's an assassin.
Is it called Assassins?
I think it's called Assassins. Yeah. I think that's what they were going for, right?
Yeah.
That and is that the one with Sly Stallone as well?
It's
they're rival assassins. I think
it's
that sort of cheesy '90s, early 2000s level of action movie where it's sort of goofy, but you're about it and on board because it's still pretty fucking slick and there's some cool set pieces.
Sure.
And then Just Cause 3 was dumb as fuck. Dumb. Just they
had the propaganda dude that would chime in every once in a while. I thought he was good value.
He was probably the only good bit.
Yeah.
About it, he sort of reminded you that they were deliberately trying to be dumb.
Yeah.
But the rest of the time, everyone plays it so serious It's always such a serious fucking. And this one is no. Just Cause 4 is no different. You know, you're in this fucking town at the start of this demo. You're in this town, and like the Black Hand, which is a terrible fucking overused fucking like bad guy team name, comes like flies in with their helicopters, and then they're like, "Oh, we know you're harboring a terrorist. Blah blah blah. We will just start murdering people." And you're like, "Fucking hell!" Like, bit harsh, isn't it? And the chick you're standing next to is like, "Oh no, she's so bad. She killed my uncle." And then it's revealed that they're cousins. So she killed her own father. She can't say she killed her own father. You need some fucking half-assed reveal. But she steps out. She's like, "I'm here. Don't worry. Please don't kill people." And she, like,
cousin.
Cousin, what are you doing? And you're like, oh my fucking god. They're playing it so fucking serious.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. Either, right, go goofy with it. Do, like, it cannot be, you cannot have the script of fucking, like, GoldenEye, right, of a Pierce Brosnan Bond, and play it with the seriousness of Daniel Craig Bond. It does not fucking work. That's what they're doing, though. Like, fucking Pierce Brosnan riding on top of a fucking tank, driving over statues and, like, quipping and being like, "Oh, I guess that was in the wrong place at the wrong time," or something. You're like, fucking Pierce, you fucking legend. You're amazing. What a fucking dude. If Daniel Craig was doing it and it was, like, dark thing, and you're like, fuck, this is serious, and he was like, "Well, I guess that was in the wrong place at the wrong time," and he drove over the tank. You'd be like, "Shut the fuck up, Daniel, what the fuck are you doing? This doesn't make any sense. Fuck's sake, go back to another 4-hour fucking picture of sand, you fucking Quantum of Solace cunt." No, Just Cause 4 is 100% like that. It's like dead serious with the dumbest fucking dialogue of all time, and then like, yeah, and then more dumb shit happens. Fucking Rico Rodriguez like fucking bursts out and shoots people. Like the Black Hand dudes. Like,
they get him.
They watch 4 people just die. They're like, "Well, did he just get shot?" And then another one gets shot. And you're like, "Yeah, you should probably start shooting back now, idiots." Like, where did you fucking find your fucking guns? What kind of henchman are you? Fucking hell. And yeah, that's my problem. "Oh, I'm looking for the disappearance of my father. Oh, he was stolen on this planet, on this island, blah, blah, blah." And you're like, fucking hell, man. Like, your dad was murdered? Like, that seems pretty heavy. It's not like fucking, imagine if The Dark Knight had, like, fucking Austin Powers instead of Batman or something. That's basically what Just Cause 4 is trying to do. Yeah. Like, this is just ridiculous.
It's got this really serious tone to it in some of the storytelling, but it's like a stupid game.
Yeah.
Like, it's yeah.
It drives me bananas. Like, and Just Cause 3 was bad for it as well. Just Cause 2, I think was like where they had the balance, and then they clearly lost it. The other thing that, like, the upside, the flip side, is that the gameplay is fucking awesome this time. Like, well, it was awesome last time, but it's awesome this time. They've incorporated a lot of shit that mods did. You got balloons, so you got inflatable shit, and they modeled the inflation correctly. It sort of steals the what's it called? The balloon system from MGS5, the Fulton recovery system. It steals that from MGS5. But you can sort of control it very, like, specifically you can control it and shit. So, like, you attach a balloon to someone and you can... The way it teaches you how to do it is to get you to move these cars out of the way while you're driving down the road. Yeah. I didn't set it up correctly. I didn't, like, switch to the right... Like, you've got these 3 different versions of your grappler that you can... Yeah, loadouts that you can switch to at any time. I didn't set it, like, I didn't switch. I switched off it again and back to my, like, retractor, which is the one where you attach it to one point, attach it to another, and drag it across. And I did that and dragged the fucking car out of the way, and it was like, good work on floating that car out of the way. I'm like, I didn't float shit, motherfucker. I just fucking I just moved some stuff. Like, I don't need a fucking balloon. I don't know why I'd need like 6 balloons just to move a fucking car. Um, I actually think, yeah, I don't know what the fucking balloon really brings to the table, to be honest, except for there's that ability. You've got a bunch of different. So you've got mods. You've got these 3 mods that you can do to your grappler. You've got the retractor. You've got the balloon, whatever the fuck it's called, airlifter, and you've got the boosters, the jet boosters. Boosters used to be on explosives specifically in JC3, but now they're a part of your grappler and they're a mod. And each one of these mods you can mod further. So the balloons, you can make them indestructible, or the retractor, you can make it explode when when they retract all the way. And the boosters, you can make like tap on and off, or only do vertical thrust, or like stuff like that. But the best one for the balloons is you can set it to follow you.
Yeah.
And so you can like just have. I had a fuck ton of sheep floating in the air, just following me around for a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was doing it. I just did it because I could. Yeah, that was pretty good. But otherwise, balloons are fucking pointless. Yeah, obviously the booster's awesome. I managed to get to a blimp.
Yep.
Like one of the blimps that is flying around. And I attached a bunch of boosters to the back of it and made a super fast blimp, which was pretty good. Got it up to, I think it was like 300 kilometers an hour. And then something happens. I'm not sure what. But the blimp just starts spinning out of control, like non-stop spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning, until I had to like bail out, and it flung me like I'd been on a fucking merry-go-round that was powered. You know, you've seen those like gifs of dudes like who power their merry-go-rounds with like motorbike. Yeah. They all get like flung off. Yeah, that's basically what happened to Rico when I jumped out of this blimp. Which was pretty cool. I like that it like mapped the physics of that correctly. I think it's weird that it did, but I like that it did anyway. Yeah, so I did that. Stole a passenger airplane, stole a military jet, and yeah, just sort of like fucked about. I did a lot of fucking about. I don't know what you got up to, but I fucked about a lot. I didn't really have any big plans. I just wanted to see what I could put together.
Yeah, I did like a couple of missions, but I went to a big military base or something where you had to blow up a bunch of like generators. I don't know if you did this one, but like each time you blow up a generator, it would lift up a ramp in the base.
No,
okay. So there was like it was split up into 3 areas, and you'd go through, kill all the enemies that were around. And each time you blow up the generator, a ramp would lift. By the 3rd time you did it, you went back to the start. You picked up a dude in a car, and then you jumped all the ramps. And then you took him to a terminal, and then he would start hacking it. And basically, you were trying to get some missiles out of their missile silo and blow them up while they're in midair. Like, you're trying to destroy missiles.
Sure.
And so you'd take him to the terminal, then you'd have to defend while he's doing his hacking, and it would just send waves of their enemies at you. And then so I finished that mission, and I just started destroying things, and so you get points for blowing up bits and pieces within the world. It's like the last couple of games. You own chaos. And so I tethered a bunch of like cargo containers with the balloons and made them follow me around, and then I wingsuited or parachuted to this giant like satellite dish. There's like, you see them around, they're fucking enormous.
Yeah.
And so I was like parachuting around this satellite dish, and I'd had like 6 or 7 fucking shipping containers behind me, and then I'd get in the middle, and then I just pop all the balloons, and then like they'd all drop in this ship, like the shipping container would just drop in the middle of this giant satellite dish and start breaking it.
Nice.
So that's what I used it for. I also, at the start of the second demo, there was you talked about like the merry-go-round. And there was also a pirate ship spinning around and a Ferris wheel. I tried a bunch of stuff with the Ferris wheel, couldn't get it to do much. I put like boosters on the Ferris wheel. I was trying to make it go really quickly, but all that seemed to happen was just nothing. And then when I put them on the carriages would just keep spinning, like
right, yeah,
like really.
Yeah.
So what I did was I put boosters on the on the pirate ship, and it broke. It actually I broke it. But then I put the inflatable like air balloons on the pirate ship, and then I had the pirate ship following me around for like 20 to 30 minutes while I was just doing random shit.
That's awesome.
Like the PR dude come back in, like this is like 30 minutes after this has happened, and he walks in and looks at my screen, and I turn around, and there's just a pirate ship behind me. It's like, yeah.
It's gold.
So
what's that fucking movie with Robert De Niro on a pirate ship that's floating in the sky?
Hook. I don't know.
Not Hook. No, it's the Neil Gaiman one. I can't remember. Anyway, classic. Yeah. I wish I'd done that. I didn't spend it. They put us in there, and the PR dude, because it was taking them forever to fucking. There was some sort of fuck up on the computers, and so it was taking them forever to load the second part of the demo onto our computers, and so they the PR dude went and did the merry-go-round stuff. Like he's like, oh yeah, I can like boost it, look it, and then it'll like spin really fast. And I'm like, I would have liked to have done that myself, but I guess you can have all the fun with it. So I like the moment I loaded it, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I'm going straight away, and I put some balloons on a motorbike and some jets on the back of it, and then I just fucking scooted away off into the sunset, away from there as fast as I could. But yeah, I really liked fucking around in that like entire fucking sandbox. Were you told that you could finish the game basically immediately or some shit? Like it's Breath of the Wild?
Yes, yeah. So there are like different biomes in the wild, and you can tackle them in any order you want. And I guess each time you complete one, it lowers the resistance of the main ending area. Right. So I'm guessing it's going to be the same sort of thing where if you want to go to the end and finish it, you can try, but it's going to be really fucking hard. And I'm sure someone will do it once they figure out like the gimmick for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's got the same like do it in whatever order you want.
And the biomes, the weather events, are supposed to like stay in the biome that they belong to, right?
I'm not sure, but I think so. Yeah. As far as I'm aware, there's like the tornado. I'm pretty sure there's like a dust storm or something like that.
There's
Have
a
I seen
sandstorm
that in
the
a trailer? Yeah.
There's a lightning storm and there is a blizzard.
Right.
And obviously the hurricane, the tornado, or whatever the fuck. Well, for me, the tornado was in the desert biome, like for 90% of the time. I think it just sort of wandered its way up there.
Yeah.
I don't think they're supposed to do that. I don't know. Maybe it's because they didn't have the other fucking things on, or but like they're not supposed to interact or something. Right? I'm not sure.
As far as I'm aware, they're not like. I've only seen them in trailers. Like I don't know how they interact with the world. But we've seen the tornado, and it's sucking up like jets and like passenger airlines.
Did you spend much time around the tornado?
Not a lot. Like I did go next to it and just sort of parachute. It doesn't seem like he can get hurt, from what I understand. He just kind of uses it as a way to get around and do things crazy. Because I was
get hit by. Yeah.
I was just gonna say I was just parachuting around it, and it was like spinning me around, and
I spent a fuck ton of time. Like I basically spent most of my time fucking with the tornado, seeing what I could do. And the way you get hurt is when it drags something and hits you with it, which is extremely hilarious. But like you can basically avoid that happening anyway by just floating along with it. So that only happens if you're on the ground near it, and it'll drag something. In my case, it was a the fuel pump from a fucking service station and dragged the fuel pump and smacked me with it.
All right.
And exploded on impact, and that killed me. But yeah, so it does that, and it destroys anything once it gets to the core. Anything that is in the core of the tornado explodes basically. So yeah, if you're in a car or a plane or a blimp that goes into the tornado, it'll explode and it'll take you with you. You with it rather. But yeah, it's pretty good. I just definitely using it to like build up a fuck ton of speed while spinning around, and then you just sort of like turn straight off and you'll scoot away with you'll have so much momentum going away, so you can get like a pretty good soar out of it, which is on your wingsuit, which is good.
Yeah, the wingsuit's pretty good. It's the same sort of thing that I felt with 3, is I didn't really feel the necessity to get in a car because I can fly. What's the point of getting in a car when I can fly?
Yeah, like you grapple to just grapple to a fucking light post, right?
Yeah,
and then parachute immediately, and then you can just sort of keep yourself going by wingsuiting all over the place.
Yeah, or with this one, you just wingsuit and you just grapple onto the ground and just pull yourself along. I mean, it's gotten to that point where I don't know if I played. I think I played 2, but not a lot of it. I didn't play as much as 3 because I reviewed 3. But remember when like Saints Row got to that point where you could just fucking like it didn't matter getting into cars anymore. Like there was no point.
Yeah,
it feels pretty similar. I'm guessing like they'll have races and different types of events in the game, but and obviously putting like boosters and shit like that onto cars. But otherwise, it feels like if you want to get around, just fly or parachute. It's pretty easy. I don't know if you did this, but with the Ferris wheel, after I put the boosters on, I tethered a bunch of people to it and then boosted it, and then people were just flinging around in circles. And then after that, I found some cows. I put boosters on cows.
Of course.
And they the classic. They just took off and see you later. Like they were in the air for a long time. But yeah, I think it's really, it's one of those dumb games where you just do stupid shit, and like you just blow things up. Everything's always exploding. I think what they've done that's really smart this time is they've like the way you can mod everything, being able to be like, all right, well, now when I do this thing with the tether, it's gonna make these other things happen. Like it's not just tethering things anymore. You can modify it. I think that's really a interesting way of going about it. Like, these balloons are going to float behind me 10 meters in the air or 15 meters in the air, or I can make them just float indefinitely, like just off they go into the sky. Yeah, like the different bits and pieces you can do. Like the tether length is going to be short, or it's going to retract and get to a point and then explode. So being able to play around with that, I think we'll see some interesting combinations come out of it. But at the end of the day, it's just going to be dumb. And I think that I said this for the last game. It's a good palate cleanser for the end of the year, because I think the last one came out about the same time. Like once all your big AAA games, it's obviously like a big AAA game, but it's one of those just go blow shit up type of games, and just have stupid
switch your brain off.
Yeah, like the story's dumb, doesn't make any sense, but you can just blow up a stupid amount of stuff and have fun. I felt like, did you die at all? Did they have God mode on or something?
I died a lot.
You could die, okay.
Oh yeah, you could.
Because I don't know if maybe they had it on for mine, but maybe they didn't. I'm not sure. Maybe it just wasn't on, but I felt like I could take a lot of damage, and I wasn't dying, so...
I don't know if we were supposed to see this or not, but we saw the dev console.
I saw it as well, yeah.
Did you see they had a God mode
and
a Jesus mode? Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, Jesus mode is just slightly less powerful than God mode.
Because we asked them, and they were like, we're not 100% sure, but...
That's gold.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely keen to play it. But I will be hardcore ignoring the story. Hopefully, I can skip as much of it as humanly possible because I mean, in that sense, it's even more like Breath of the Wild
Because the
because
story doesn't
I
matter.
didn't give a fuck about that story either. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's a good like game to model your open world adventure on. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like, it's still a tiny, like, for a game that's going to be out in a month, there was still a bit of jank to it. But, like, not as janky as the next game we'll talk about. That's a good segue.
oh,
Should we talk about Fallout?
let's do it.
Fallout 76. Man, where to start with this? You've played a little bit. I guess I'll talk about it because I've played it the most. I'll
You
kick
played a
things
lot
off.
more than me, yeah.
I've written down some notes, so I'll just open up my notes so I don't miss anything. Yeah, Fallout 76 is a prequel to the other Fallout games that we've played. It is set basically after the bombs have dropped. You are the first sort of residents to start populating this world. So you get out there, and it's like there's no one around. It's robots and basically enemies. There's no NPCs in the game, no human NPCs in the game, and it's a multiplayer game. I guess that's the big one they're pushing for, is that you can play this with your friends now. We played a bunch of the beta.
Yep.
We played a little bit of beta when it
I
was.
didn't think much of it.
It was I got to like level 6 or something. I didn't play a lot of it, but play a little bit, mainly because the beta times weren't at an optimal time
they were
for
terrible
us.
times. Yeah,
And when we could play, it just wasn't working anyway. Like, we couldn't play as a team. I don't think any days during the beta I couldn't add anybody.
No.
Even on the last day when I tried to add people, it was just like, no, no, thank you. So yeah, it wasn't a great multiplayer experience for them. So I was playing it pretty solo. I also went to the preview event. It's the Greenbrier, so I talked about that. Played it on Xbox there.
Yep.
So I've had a lot of time with it, and now I've played the PC release. Yeah, and it's definitely, I'd say, the jankiest Fallout game that I've played. I had problems with 4. My main problem with 4, and we've talked about this before, is that they didn't limit the frame rate in the engine, and so what was happening was the physics were tied to the game engine, and so people with good PCs were having issues where they were either moving too quickly in the world or getting stuck in objects. My particular case was I couldn't use terminals in the game properly. Sometimes I'd interact with them and then I couldn't leave them, so I'd be stuck and I'd have to reload a save. Eventually they ended up patching that out, and it had to do with things like VSync, like just basically your frame rate being too high, and G-Sync, and they didn't account for any of that. So for me, that was probably my biggest issue, apart from the just the jankiness of like the dog sort of stuff, and like what was the point of having a dog? Just like the AI wasn't that great. But otherwise, like, I felt like it was fine. It wasn't as bad as like some of the other games I've had. Like Rage, the original Rage, I couldn't play for like a year because it was just fucked on PC. And then you had games like Dishonored 2, which was a bit broken. Was it Dishonored 2 or Dishonored 1? Sorry, Dishonored 1 was broken at launch for NVIDIA people. I believe me and Nate were both having issues with that one. But yeah, this was like Fallout 76, a lot of issues. Straight off the bat for me, and I don't know why these problems weren't happening in the beta, but I can take a stab as to why they're happening now. And it's something we talked about, is that it was discovered that people were changing their INI files and uncapping their frame rate. And in doing that, it would cause people to move quicker, because once again, the game engine is tied to the physics. So the more frame rate you get, the quicker you move. And so what was happening was people were uncapping their frame rate, and they would move in certain situations quicker than others by doing simple things like looking at the ground. so your frame rate would change and you can move quicker. So Bethesda fixed that by capping everybody's frame rate to 63 on the PC. I don't know what it's like on consoles. Haven't played it, but I'm talking about my PC experience. And so I fired up the game, and I was getting 30 frames per second. And it was rough. I was like, I don't know really what's going on. Here, it's really strange. There aren't any options in the display settings to actually go in and be like, I want to set it to this.
There are barely any options at all.
Yeah, there's no options in there. So
staggeringly few
so I
options.
had to look and try and figure out what was going on. Eventually, I found it was like a PC gamer post or something about how to turn off VSync.
Oh, yeah.
So I turned off VSync, which was enabled in the INI file, which is not a setting you can change in the display settings. So for anyone who doesn't know what VSync does, it basically it stops screen tearing from happening on your screen. So it forces it to render each frame. Screen tearing, you'll see those like really jaggedy lines when the refresh rate is either not able to keep up with your monitor or it's maybe too high, and so you get these weird lines on your screen when you look at it. Super disorientating. But if you're like me and you have a G-Sync monitor, you don't need VSync because your monitor, the hardware is doing it for you. I think you've got one as well, right?
I do, yes.
So it's hardware built in. The hardware, your monitor matches the frame rate you're getting in the game, and so you don't have screen tearing. There's no option in Fallout 76 to disable VSync as far as you going in and setting it up. So I had to go in the INI file, turn that off. For whatever reason, that half fixed my problem with the frame rate. I was now getting 63 frames per second, but now I was getting screen tearing, even though I have a G-Sync. Oh, sorry. No, I had to... Yeah, anyway, so that's happening now. I'm getting screen tearing for whatever fucking reason. I don't know. Eventually, I end up turning borderless window on, and that fixes my screen tearing, fixes my frame rate to now 63. This is after about an hour of fucking around. And now I've got 63 frames per second. It's still not great. Like, it drops quite a lot. And the game still feels floaty, like something's going on with VSync. Because when you use VSync, it gets a little bit laggy. But that's like the payoff with that. You get smooth frame rate, but a little bit laggy. So there's something going on there. It's not doing whatever it's supposed to be doing properly. I know it's not an isolated issue because I posted on Twitter about it. I had people DMing me, asking me if I'd fixed it, because they were having the same problem. And these are people from other big websites as well. I don't know if they're reviewing the game, but also having the same problem on PC. So they haven't tested it on G-Sync monitors or something, I don't know. I've checked the community threads on the Bethesda support forums, and there are other people having the same issue. So that's a bit like huge oversight. I didn't have any problems at all during the beta. It's whatever they've done in between capping the frame rate to try and fix this cheating problem to now, it's completely fucked up. They've done something wrong there. So that's shit. But otherwise, I've gotten used to it now. Like, I can... It's other than the frame drops, it's not a huge problem for me because I've just gotten used to it, playing it that way. But it's still shit. It doesn't work properly. The keyboard bindings are terrible. Like, I don't know who set up the control system for this, but like, tab to go back is like... it's not escape. It's like they didn't know what the escape button was, and they were like, nah, we'll just use tab. For whatever reason as well, whenever I change my key bindings, they don't stick, and I have to reset them each time I play. It's not a huge deal because the only buttons I change for me are crouch. I change crouch from control to alt, and in the game, control is by default is melee. And so all I do is just switch them around, and that's cool. But it's annoying when I jump back in the first time, like, oh, I'm going to sneak. And I press the fucking button and I throw a grenade or something like that. That's a little bit annoying. So that's a bit shit. The animations in the games are fucked. And I don't know if this is to do with just janky animations, because I didn't see any during my preview, and I went back and checked my footage on the Xbox, and I couldn't see any. And I don't know if this is to do with the servers being slow or something, or if it's just I didn't experience it during my 3 hours playing it overseas. But you'll run into instances where like they're just standing around, like in either T poses or just weird stationary pose, like they're not moving at all. And then you shoot them, and then like 3 seconds later they suddenly just come to life, like these creatures. I've mainly seen them with like your ghouls or like the scorched guys.
Scorched, yeah.
Like I've seen it a lot with them. Sometimes they moonwalk all over the place. Their AI is not great. They'll just hide behind weird objects in the world, or they'll start shooting at you and then moonwalk out of the room and just off they go somewhere else. So the AI is doing weird shit there. I haven't had a lot of them, but server disconnects. I've had one where the game just stops and then nothing happens, and then it comes up and tells you the server disconnected. I guess the main issue with that is that it's not saving a lot, so you're losing progress, up to 5 to 10 minutes sometimes, which is a bit crap, because
that's fucked.
Yeah, especially when you're doing like missions and you've killed things, or because the first time, so it must have happened twice to me. The first time it happened to me, I just killed this huge ass monster, and it's the first time I've seen it. And I killed it, I picked up all the stuff, and the server disconnected, and I was like, fuck, like, I hope I've got all that stuff still. But I don't remember what I picked up. So yeah, server disconnects were a problem. They haven't been a huge issue for me because I haven't been playing it as much as I guess other people, but I've seen a lot of people complaining about, especially after like all the servers went online around the world. People were having a lot of issues. I'm having issues with holotapes not playing for whatever reason. Like I'll pick them up, they just don't play for me anymore. I don't know what happened, but you can either pick them up with E or play them with R, and he picks them up, and you can hear like the background noise of the audio tape, but there's no talking. So like you hear all the noises of him like putting it in, and like the background like firing up, like there's supposed to be like a crackling sound, like you hear all that, there's just no one talking. So what I need to do is I need to then go into my Pip-Boy, open up my holotapes, and then find the one that I picked up and then play it. The annoying part about that is if I don't remember what the name of the tape is I've picked up, I don't know which one to play. So I've gotten to the point now where I have to remember what it is I pick up before I pick it up, so that I can go into my Pip-Boy and then play it. And this isn't just like it's the game bugged out because I just need to restart or whatever. Like my tapes don't play anymore at all. Full stop.
That's fucked.
Yeah, and because there's some of the missions, like sometimes you get missions from them, or they'll be part of a mission, so I'll need to play them twice, because even though I picked it up and I'm playing it, it doesn't check off like the mark in the missions, so that'll just it just does that. They're my technical issues that I've had.
I got a couple as well.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that people's like, and I won't lean on the desk. Have you noticed that people's like speaker icons are lagging behind them a fuck ton? Have you seen that?
No.
I've seen a lot. I have noticed, a lot of fucking animation errors, huge frame drops. It loads really quick when you're teleporting around the map. But then you just get fucking massive frame drops for seemingly no reason. Like shitloads of lag. When I was playing yesterday, I was playing with a couple of dudes, and they were like, "Oh, are you okay, Joby?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why?" And apparently I was standing in an explosion. On my screen, the explosion had happened like 15 seconds earlier, and I'd walked over to see what was happening. But according to their vision. Both of them. I was just standing in the middle of a fucking explosion, like nothing fucking mattered. Yeah, like all kinds of like that's I guess just network lag. But yeah, the frame drops are pretty bad. And yeah, I don't know. I just don't know what the fuck I'm doing in it. But that's not technical. A lot of the stuff you said, like, it's generally been happening to me. I've got G-Sync, but I don't have the same problem. Well, actually, I just don't notice screen tearing because the whole fucking game's ugly as
Well, I'm not getting screen tearing anymore.
Right.
But I've got it on borderless windows, so I don't know you're playing on borderless or full screen. But I'm still getting the... You've obviously got like a 1070? 1080?
Yeah.
Yeah.
1070.
So what's happening is when I'm dropping below the 63, it's really noticeable, like a lot. And it seems like my mouse is slowing down or something. It's doing this weird thing. It must have to do with the frame rate. So
yeah. So yeah, I guess it just doesn't run well at all. I mean,
it doesn't run great.
It's just an understatement. I think that's just such a high level way to put it. It runs like shit. But it's hard to really pin that down because it plays like shit as well. So,
right.
Yeah.
So some of my main issues with the game, in terms of like the design stuff, I think I'm not a fan of the weapon degradation at the moment. I think weapons are destroying too quickly. I think that needs to be toned back, especially because the resources that you need to fix them, like they're hard to come by. Some of them, like they're a pain. I've gotten to the point now where I've permanently got like aluminium on tagged for me, so I know what the fuck aluminium is. I'll just pick up everything because I'm like, I need that to fix all my guns. Because I've got this cool shotgun that I use, and I've got a cool hunting rifle, and I alternate between the two because they break pretty quickly. I think the game's wanting me to be like, oh no, you should pick up this pistol. I'm like, but I don't want to use a pistol. I want to use the shotgun that I've got that I've put like a sight on, and I've extended the barrel, and I've done all this cool shit too. But you're like wanting me to use this pistol of this other thing, and I'm like, it's doing like the thing, like the Breath of the Wild thing, where it's like, oh, you should try and use all these other cool weapons that they've got. But in Breath of the Wild, you're not like spending all this resources and time like upgrading this specific weapon that you've got and putting all this money into it and like making it my own weapon. It's just like, oh, it was just a sword I picked up off the ground, and I don't. It'd
be like if your horse in Red Dead died of old age or some shit, and you're like, oh, I guess that does happen.
Guess that don't give them ideas, Joab.
I guess horses die like that. But this, it feels like a bit of a dick punch.
Yeah.
Cool. I guess I won't get attached to anything then. Yeah, like I don't know if I'm supposed to be ditching shit, but I pick up every pistol I see because I know it's just gonna break after I kill 3 fucking cockroaches. So yeah.
But even the stuff you pick up off of the thing you've killed, like the majority of things that I find, it's got like a small amount of durability on it anyway, so it's only going to last me a couple of minutes. So yeah, that whole system is really weird. Like apart from the fact that I don't feel like I know what I should be doing with any of these guns. Like I want to use the guns that I've got, and I can't pick up all these other guns because I'm limited by weight, and I can't pick up fucking 30 guns because I'll become over-encumbered. And I'm like, all right, fair enough. So I've got my 5 guns that I've used. Like I've got my pistol, I've got my shotgun, my hunting rifle, my backup melee weapon, and then maybe like a second pistol in case my other one breaks or something like that. But the 2 main ones that I'm using is like my hunting rifle and my shotgun, and they just break all. Like I went for so long the other day because I was like, I'm out of aluminium. I can't fix these guns. And so now I'm fucked. Yeah, so I think the weapon degradation needs to be toned down quite a bit because it's not fun. It's not a fun system at the moment. VATS, I still think, and I complained about this in my preview. I think VATS is still super janky. There's still no damage feedback on VATS, so you don't know when you hit something, other than the fact that you get a damage reduction in their health bar. Like, oh, I hit them, I can see that. But when I'm with 3 other people, I don't know who's hitting them. Like, I don't know if my shotgun hit that person. Like, maybe someone else hit them. So there's no damage feedback still with VATS. I think that needs to be sorted out.
Sure.
One of my biggest complaints is I don't like that the map is uncovered from the start. I think it would change a lot of the way I feel about exploration in the game. I really like exploring in this game. That's one of the positives. But I think it would elevate. It would elevate that. I was looking for the word. I think it'd elevate that quite a lot if I was not running around the world and being like, oh, what's that off in the distance? And then being, oh, I can go to my map. And, oh, it's a Ferris wheel. Because I can literally see it on my map, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to being like, oh, what the fuck is that off in the distance? And then running for 5 minutes to go and see it. I mean, like, holy shit, this is cool. And exploring it. Whereas you can open the map and just see everything that's in the world and be like, all right, there's like no surprise, you know what I mean? Other than the small things that you come across in the world, like the world building stuff. That's really the only cool moments that you have, as opposed to like, oh, I can see this thing off in the distance, I wonder what that is, and you go and explore. I think that's a missed opportunity. I wish that the map was like there was a fog around the map and you started in Vault 76 and then you just went and explored, or you went in sort of the direction of the game, because the game does tell you to go in certain directions, right? Like it forces you. There is a main storyline. It gets you to go to certain places.
It doesn't force you.
Well, no, it doesn't force you, but it's trying to get you to follow this path.
Encourages it heavily, yeah.
Yeah, and as you get to like, here's the main part in the story, then there's like side quests and events that pop up, and then you start forming this trail. You don't have to follow it. You can go off into different areas. Whether or not you'll be capable of taking on whatever is in that area, or if you can even get into that environment, it's up to you. But I wish that it wasn't spoiled for me. You know what I mean? I think that's the cool thing.
Totally.
You look at
DayZ, right? DayZ is a perfect example for me because it is just it's a map. You've got the map from the get-go, like you might, right? But it doesn't have landmarks on it. It's got fucking cities.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't have like specific landmarks and shit. Oh, here's the power station. Here's fucking whatever the fuck.
Right.
No, that's there. You have to go find those things yourself. If someone's like, oh, I got this sick thing from a power station down south, then you would have to go to the power station Electro, I suppose. But in this, you're just like, oh, is it this one or this one? And then they're like, yeah, cool. It's that one.
Yeah, and so what I was going to say was, if you liken it to either Red Dead Redemption, where you're uncovering this map, but at the same time, you uncover an area, and you might not necessarily come across something in that area until you actually walk into it, or until you interact with it, and then Arthur will draw on the map and be like, this is the thing I found, and he'll draw in like a picture of this is the thing in that area, and that's now on your map. Or he'll name it, like he writes in the name of it, like this is the whatever cabin, and so you've now got a location name in there.
Yeah.
Similar thing in the forest, where you start off with a map and it is blank, and until you start exploring areas, your character starts drawing in landmarks or like the outskirts of a specific, the environment. Whereas I wish that this game did this. If you were like, everything, like the land was either blanked out or grayed out, you couldn't see it or something, or maybe it showed you a general layout, but when you went and discovered it, it's like, oh, I've discovered bloody blah, because that happens when you get to an area. It says discovered whatever, you get XP, and it comes up. All right, now it's on your map, and he fucking draws in the Ferris wheel. That'd be awesome, because now it's like, you're actually going out and exploring places, whereas I just feel like I'm yeah, I can see it all on the map. I know what's going to be there, and
If you did it, like, I guess my pitch for the DayZ method, right? If they do, because I feel like DayZ is a huge inspiration when it comes to this game, like a huge degree of inspiration. If you did it the DayZ way, where they never fucking wrote it on the map, it would be a testament to like your personal map knowledge and your experience with the game world. And so in that sense, like, it's such a huge part of progression in DayZ is that you are personally leveling up. It's the Dark Souls philosophy of you are like, your character doesn't get better. You as a person are better at this world. And it just doesn't feel like it's a necessity in Fallout. I just jump in, I go fucking teleport to one of my level 20 friends, and we fucking fuck up level fucking 16 shit, and I ping up fucking levels of like 1 billion miles an hour. Easy peasy. Like, yeah, like I don't need to learn the world. I know where a gun factory is. If I mouse over, I know where the power plant is. I know where a junkyard is. For some reason, we set up a camp in a junkyard. Like, you've got the entire fucking post-apocalyptic world to live in, and you want to live in the fucking tip. Okie dokie, fair enough. Whatever you want.
Maybe you just like mole rats.
Yeah, that's the dream. Like, I just don't feel like there's anything that I particularly need to learn. Like, it feels like everything. It's such a RPG style of getting you, like, incentivizing you to improve, where improvement is actual character leveling up. So you don't personally need to improve. You don't personally need to get better at anything. Like, it hands you so much. It, like, if we go, the other clear inspiration, in my opinion, is Minecraft. If we were to look at Minecraft, right, you got to learn, like, there's so much to learn in Minecraft. You start by like punching trees and shit, right? But if you want to make anything, you got to like personally learn how to make shit. You got to like put the tree blocks in the right fucking order and stuff. That doesn't seem to be the case here. Like, I don't know if I just haven't reached that portion of it yet. But as long as you've got the right fucking blueprints, you can make whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I mean, the game definitely does put you in this loop of, like, telling you how to do basic things in the world. Like, you start off that game with learning how to boil water and making the correct food. And then you start going back up the top, and it's like, all right, now we're going to set up a camp. And I'm going to teach you how to build all these things in the camp. And then it's like, all right, go to the airfield base and then find the blueprints for this thing. Like, it's trying to get you to do some of that stuff. But I feel like...
Like, I don't know. I just don't think it should be telling you to do any of this shit. Like, because that, like, it shouldn't be breadcrumbing you on all this shit. It should have dumped everyone in the fucking game world and asked them to challenge them to work that shit out.
To figure it out.
Because that's where the community fucking derives from. Like, there's no reason to play with other people in Fallout 76 except to have a slightly easier time as shit. Me playing with the level 20s is good for them as well, because the
Scaling.
monsters scale between us, so they get slightly easier enemies. I get a fuck ton of XP. Like, everything works out really well for everyone. Like, that's the only reason to play with anyone. That is, like, it's classic MMO bullshit. But it doesn't make any sense, because it's not an MMO. That, like, it doesn't have that in it. It doesn't have that. It's like they read about MMOs or something. Like, I don't understand. They saw fucking the South Park episode on World of Warcraft, and like, we probably do that. Yeah, I think we can manage that. Like, that's their only experience with MMOs or some shit. I don't know. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. The concept, the community aspect, comes from that camaraderie of learning together and growing, and like, that might come. Like, I guess Gerald was talking about how he's got 3 of the nuke codes.
Yeah.
And he needs 8 or something. Or is it all this, like, he's still not sure how he would utilize them, even if he had 8 and stuff like that. Like, so they are, but that's the end game, right? Like the early game, but that shouldn't be the way. Like the whole thing should be like that. You should start. We start in the dirt, and we'll die in the dirt. You should end in the dirt. You should fucking. The whole fucking journey should be one of you learning how to live in this hostile game world, not the game slowly teaching you, like, through breadcrumbing how to do it. This just doesn't make any sense. It's such a fucking sterile corporate approach to the survival genre. Imagine, people compare it to Rust a lot. Imagine Rust if it was like exactly how people picture a AAA studio doing Rust. That's what it is to me. Like, imagine a survival game if it is all of the fears of the neutered experience of a AAA title. The corporate appeasing stockholders version of a survival game. Technically, it ticks the right box on Steam, yeah, but actually doesn't live up to what those games promise.
Right.
Like, it's not an MMO. It's not really a survival game. I just don't know what it is. Technically a multiplayer Fallout, but the game gains nothing from being multiplayer. There is nothing, as far as I can tell, that is improved upon by having it massively multiplayer. Like, why isn't it just a fucking 4-player co-op Fallout? Why the fuck wouldn't you just do that? Having randoms in it brings nothing to the table. It's just so weird. And like I got murdered, and I clipped it. I had literally no fucking idea what had happened. Because everything I've heard is that, like, you're supposed to be generally safe from being, like, just fucking punted on. But if the person who does the murdering happens to be 41 levels above you, then there's nothing you can do about it. Like, you will just get shredded. I just got shredded. Like, I was fucked. I never could have done anything, like, regardless of what I wanted. I had no fucking option. And obviously, I'm the gentleman bandit. I murdered my fucking way across Chernarus. I have done despicable acts. I troll in fucking every single game I play ever. We were playing Battlefield 5 the other day, and I jumped in a Jeep at the start of a round, and it was full from the get-go, like, immediately full. Everyone jumped in. There was 5 of us, and we had 3 extra people standing on top of the Jeep. So I turned and drove off into the out of bounds area, so far that nobody reached it back, and all 8 of us died instantly. I am a dickhead, like, hardcore, a fuckwit, right? So, like, it's not like I have a problem with people being fuckwits in video games. I'm cool with it. I think people being fuckwits in video games significantly improves a lot of video games. But I was under the impression that this game was supposed to be grief-free. And I don't understand why you would have opt-in PvP if a level, like, someone who's 41 levels above you can still come over and, regardless of whether or not you opt in, murder you in microseconds. I have no idea what the fuck the point is. Like, yeah, what?
Especially when they don't get anything for it.
Right? They are literally just doing it to grief. Right? And that's, like I said, that is fine. I'm cool with griefing. But it's supposed to be grief. Like, they've created these mechanisms to avoid griefing, to neuter the impact of griefing on people's, like, game experience. And they don't appear to work. So now I'm going to go back, like, if I go back into the game, I'm going to have to be wary of everyone who is significantly higher level than me. And that makes sense, right? In a game where you could, if it was World of Warcraft, and I'm in, like, contested area, yeah, why the fuck not? Right? Like, Yeah, that's what I have coming. Like, if an ally wants to like roll up on me and fuck me, maybe I shouldn't have been way out of my fucking league. But that's not what this game is supposed to be doing. So yeah, all I've got is questions. If that's not what this game is supposed to be doing, then why the fuck did it happen? Why wouldn't you want that to happen? Right? Why wouldn't that be a portion of the game that you enjoy? I remember you were talking about it after your preview at the Greenbrier, because it's been a question for me from day dot.
Hmm.
And you look at the answer the Sea of Thieves guys had, right? And they were like, to have the organic storytelling experiences that you want, you have to accept that people are going to grief, right? And you have to trust that people will find it more enjoyable to not grief, right? But you have to allow them the ability to grief, or those storytelling experiences will never happen. That's not what you came back from fucking Fallout, the Fallout preview with, right? They were actively trying to stop that shit. I just don't understand, man. Like, I honestly don't understand. I don't understand how I died so quick. Like, does he just have a fucking minigun or something?
Yeah, he had a minigun, like on the vault suit, not the vault suit, the power armor.
Power, power
so he had that,
yeah.
and then obviously him being 40 levels higher than you. So if he is the same level as you or around the same level, that's when the chip damage comes in. But because it's so far above, that chip damage is still there, but it's just significantly higher. And so you'll die, and then you get the option of being like, well, I don't want to do that anymore. So you can block them, and then they can't do anything anymore, or you can respawn, or I think there's like a revenge thing, which
so revenge. What did that mean? I wasn't gonna pick it because like, what if it put me in a 1v1 like in Grand Theft Auto? I'll just fucking die again. What the fuck's the point of that?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't done any PvP yet in my games. Everybody has been nice to me, which has been different. Yeah. But yeah, as I said when I came back from that preview, the PvP is not something I'm interested in its current form. It doesn't appeal to me at all. So, yeah. But what is interesting is I guess the interaction with the other players in the world as well. All of my interactions have been pretty positive. I had obviously the one where we were playing the other day, where Gerald and I teleported to our mate he's like in the eastern side of the map. I haven't been over there yet. And he was at this power plant, and so I teleported to him just to check out what he's doing. And we get inside this power plant because it's an area where you can claim, and claiming areas sometimes give you resources. You can build on them, build bases, and then you get resources. Like sometimes it's like you'll get aluminium or food or gold or whatever it is that the thing does. So you can claim it, and that becomes like a PvP area where other people can come and try and take it from you. So we got there, and in order to build all this stuff, you can either build a bunch of generators, or there's a power plant behind you, and you can use the power plant to generate enough power to build everything in this location. So it's a cool idea, where you can either spend all your resources to capture this thing, or you can go to this other quest to like further, like you don't have to do anything. So we went in the power plant, and there was a dude in there already, running around doing the like event in the power plant to start the power plant up. Because it's like it's all broken, it's all busted and shit. And so Gerald goes in and teams up with him without communicating, just invites him to a team. This other dude jumps into our team, and we're suddenly doing this quest together. And we had to run around the power plant. So it's like a nuclear power plant or something. You had to repair like a bunch of sections in there. There was a bunch of busted shit. So you did that. Then you had to like go activate a bunch of terminals, and like some of them were inside like a nuclear reactor where you'd start getting radiation. And then once you sorted all that out, you leave through like the decontamination chamber, and all your radiation disappears. Like it's a really cool idea of how like to start up this power plant. Like there's steps to it. So we eventually do all the steps. We fire up this power plant. It takes us a little while to do, and then we go outside, and the things that are required to start up, like to attach the generators, they're not working. Every time we go to them, it's like, oh, you need to, the power plant isn't functional. Like, it's giving us this error message basically, like, you need to go start the power plant up. We're like, didn't we just do that? And so there's all these wires around the power plant. You know, when you build in the game like a generator, you need to attach them to like power poles, and you can attach wires to them to like power certain things. Like, oh, I've got a giant turret here, but it needs a certain amount of power, so you have to daisy chain all these things together. So we're doing that and looking at wires on this power plant. It's like, well, this one's green, this one's green, this one's not attached to anything, and it's yellow. Like, maybe that needs to be attached to something out here. And like, so I'm running around looking at things and not figuring it out, because like these things that we're seeing, like the poles are not inside the build area of this claiming station, so we can't actually build in this part. So like, I'm super confused. So I go back inside the power plant. I run around trying to figure it out. Not too sure. I go back to the terminal. The terminal says the power plant is up and running. Like, I don't know. So I leave, and I come back out. I'm like, I don't know what we do. Like, we fired it up. It's still telling us we've only got 10 power, which is not enough to power any of this stuff. Like, we needed 100 or something like that. But for whatever reason, we're only getting 10 power. So I start searching on the internet, and lo and behold, like, people are complaining about this quest during the beta, about it being bugged, and no one can figure it out. Because at this stage, I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like, we need to figure out how to join like all the power things together now and like get them all going. Like, but it just turned out it was bugged. It's like, well, it's still bugged. Like, this major event that you've got to power this part in the world where you need to claim resources at doesn't work, and it hasn't worked for like 2 or 3 weeks now, judging by the comments on these support forums and threads. So, like, that's those ideas are cool, but the fact that like the game is launched and that stuff is still not, like, major components are just bugged out is fucked. And so anyway, they start building power generators individually, and start claiming resources. So they're like claiming wood now from wood extractors and aluminium. They start setting up turrets because the place gets attacked by waves of enemies once in a while. Other people can come and claim the area. At this stage, I was like, I'm done. I'm going to go eat some food. It was like 8:30 at night or something like that. And I came back later on, and this guy that Gerald had teamed up with, they're like still playing together at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Just some random dude. And I think that's really cool. Like the fact that you can start like teaming up with someone, and all of a sudden 5 hours later you're still playing with them, and you built this ginormous base. I'm like, dude, I've been playing by myself, single player, running around. I'm going to bed now anyway. So I get up the next morning, and he's playing again at some stage. But then you send through that clip, and it's the same crew, so they've still got this base going like 12 hours later.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit, like, they've been maintaining this for a long time. So I think that stuff's really cool.
That is cool. Like, that, right?
Yeah.
Seems like a really good idea for a game, right?
Yeah.
Randomly matching up to play fucking like Fallout with some other people
that you don't know.
Yeah, that you don't know. It seems like you could play with your friends, but you can randomly match with some other people and see if they're cool, you keep playing with them. Otherwise, you just leave the party, see if you can like match up again. Maybe like open yourself up to be matched with people or whatever, and see how you go. That seems like a cool idea. Why do you need? What the fuck is the point of the 12 other people on the map doing shit at the same time? I just don't understand. It doesn't seem to bring anything, right? It's really fucking cool how like this his name is Josh, right?
Yeah.
And
now you guys are best friends, right?
Now we're best friends. I don't think he's my biggest fan. I think I swear too much for him, but He was super, like, right from the get-go, just super fucking helpful. He'll tell me how to do shit, tell me what I should be about, like, finding. And I couldn't match onto Gerald for some reason. His shit was bugged out. So he, like, immediately added me as a friend, and, like, teamed up to play with me as well, and, like, all that kind of shit. That's fucking rad. That is cool. That's social gaming. I think if that's what they were driving at, that's a really good idea. That's not it though. That's not Fallout 76. That's some side thing that they managed. That's like they, like, have scavenged around in the junk pile that is Fallout 76, and they managed to come away with something fucking usable, something they can actually do something with, right? Like, they've gone down to the tip and they come around away with, like, a fucking pitchfork, and they're like, fuck yeah, pitchfork. Why would anyone throw away a pitchfork, right? And you can use a pitchfork. It's got uses. It's definitely a tool, right? But, like, most of the rest of the fucking shit at the tip is garbage. That's Fallout 76. A whole bunch of garbage with a couple of fucking decent bits and bobs.
Some copper wire in the corner.
Some copper wiring, yeah. Yeah. Oh, man.
Like, there's other moment I had where, and I don't know if you've done this yet, but it was another event, and it was a food processing plant. And
no, I didn't.
I get to this processing plant, and so events are like an area where other people can join in and help you. And then if you all complete it, you all get the reward, including XP. And so this one, I was soloing. And you get there, and you have to pick up items within the food processing plant. It's a bunch of stock, like beef stock and vegetable stock. And they're scattered throughout the level. And as you're doing that, you're getting attacked by those little fucking blue robots that shoot laser beams at you and spin in the air. I don't know, can't remember what they're called, but they come and attack you every once. Like, you see them at the start of the game, literally as you leave the vault. The little blue robots that spin and shoot. Nope.
I don't remember.
Where you get your gun when you leave the vault.
What do you mean where you get your gun? I found a gun in a fucking factory.
You know when you leave the vault?
Yeah.
There's a gun when you leave the vault.
Didn't see it.
It's like right in front of you.
No.
Nope.
No, I didn't see any blue robots.
And then you walk down the stairs and there's blue robots. I
jumped over a railing and immediately started hopping down the hill.
You're doing well. Anyway, there's a bunch of these blue robots in this factory.
Sure.
And they're trying to stop you from getting stock into this machine. So eventually you get all the stock, and there's like a countdown timer. Like, you've got 15 minutes left to do all this stuff before the event ends. So you get all the stock in there, you start up the food dispenser, and then it starts up like, oh, you've got to defend the area, like, from attacks, and then suddenly rodents start coming in, and feral ghouls and whatnot. And so you start defending the area. But, like, these fucking robots, like, while I'm getting this stock, there are robots coming, man. There's like 6 robots at a time coming, and then I'd kill them all, and then I'd be like, all right, I've got to get 9 of these fucking stocks. I think it was 12 actually, and they weren't easy to find. They were like underneath fucking like tables and shit. Like, you'd have to get down low and find them. Like, up on, they're all over the place. And eventually I found them all, but it took me quite a while to find all of them. At this stage, I'm just like, there are robots everywhere. I must have killed like fucking 60 robots, maybe more. So I eventually get all the stock, I fire up these machines, and then, like, I'm doing wave-based defense now, and at one stage, like, the machine breaks down, I need to go, like, repair some wiring somewhere, so at least this, like, event is not just doing the one thing, and that's, like, it's getting me to do multiple things. I'm not just shooting stuff, I'm going repairing terminals and whatnot. Meanwhile, my weapons are breaking because the weapon degradation isn't that great.
Yep.
And I've killed 50 fucking blue robots, and there's mole rats and ghouls and whatnot coming at me. And eventually I finish this task, and I get rewarded and whatnot, and I leave, and I start doing other missions. And like an hour later, I've maybe two or 3 hours later, I've done everything that I need to, like at the airport, and finished all those bits and pieces, and I need to go back down south to the bottom of the map, and I start passing the food dispenser place, and as I'm getting closer, I start hearing somebody talking, because the game has proximity chat, and it's always on, which is another fucking stupid thing. Oh, sorry, it's not always on. You can actually turn it off, but there's no push to talk. That's my problem. So this guy, I can hear him in the food processing plant, and all I can hear him say is, "These fucking robots, they just keep coming." All the time. And it's just him in there, and so I go in and I'm like, I help him for a little bit. Like, he's clearly not doing well, because there's only like a couple of minutes left, and as you get closer, you can see the like their progress, like what they've done, and he's struggling on this thing, because I can see that he doesn't have any, like, he's missing a bunch of food stock. So I come past and I start helping him out a little bit, and then once I get all the food like stock into the dispenser, I'm like, I give him a wave and just leave, like, because I'm like, I'm not sticking around for this part of it again. Like, I've done my due. But yeah, it's just funny that, like, I could hear him as I got closer having the same sort of problem with me as these fucking robots, being like, there's too many of them. So yeah, that's nice. I mean, there's some cool things in terms of the exploration and the missions. Like, I'm still enjoying the exploring part, and like, oh, I'm in a new town, I'm gonna go and see what this pharmacy is all about, and like looking at the world building or the story sort of behind what has happened here. Like, you go down in this building, and there's like, in the basement, someone's been digging a hole, and it leads to another house somewhere, and you can see that they've been like stealing shit or something like that. Like, there's a storytelling behind that sort of stuff that's really cool. So yeah, I'm having fun like exploring the world and just seeing what is out there. But that seems to be the only part of the game that I am enjoying. Like, the playing it by myself and playing it as a Fallout game and just exploring. But there's all these different things that I can see design wise that I'd be like, I'd change all this stuff, and I think I feel like I'd have a better experience at it.
Yeah.
And apart from the fact that it's like the buggiest game they've released so far on PC, at least. I don't know what it's like on console. I haven't played it, and I haven't really been paying attention to what people are saying, but on PC, for me at least, it's been a nightmare. Getting this thing. I've had like 2 or 3 crashes, like just hard crashes. So yeah, but like, I feel like it just needed more time or something. Maybe another year just to polish a bunch of the bugs, make the gameplay a bit better, and it would have been an okay game. But at this stage, it's pretty average.
They should have released this early access.
Sure.
Right? Early access, and be upfront that they're willing to make major changes to the design. Because as it is, if this is the representation of the game, what they want Fallout 76 to be, I cannot imagine recommending it to anyone.
I can recommend it to Fallout fans. Everyone I've seen that loves Fallout is hyped as shit about this game. Like, the Reddit threads are just, it's like they're like playing a different game to me.
Just get Fallout 4, and there's a really good mod for Fallout 4 where you just like build in the wasteland.
Yeah.
Just do that.
Like the guy that you were playing with, he's loving it.
Josh.
Yeah, he's a big Fallout nerd, and he's enjoying it. Like, that's why I said I feel like people that like Fallout games, like hardcore Fallout fans, are gonna really like it. But there's so many issues there.
There's massive issues, and I feel like, saying if you're a Fallout fan, you'll like it. I don't think it's helpful to them. I think it's I don't know. If you like getting beaten up by a spouse, you'll love getting beaten up by a spouse. Like, maybe. Fuck. Like, you have to overlook so much shit.
Yeah.
And there just doesn't. It's just half baked. Yeah. Doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Anyway. If you are a Fallout fan, don't get it, in my opinion. Get Fallout 4 and I can't remember what the mod is. I'll see if I can find it. and I'll chuck a link in our Discord. But it's basically what I feel like this is trying to be, but also this has multiplayer. And seeing how I don't think multiplayer actually adds anything to the fucking like experience, I have no idea why you wouldn't just play this mod on your own. Like you could sit in Discord with a mate and you could both play the mod at the same time, doing independent things, and it'd be just as impactful as playing with friends in Fallout 76. Yeah. Anyway.
Cool. I'm
One
sure
more
we'll
game?
talk about it more then at some stage.
We'll probably. I want to go back in. I want to finish at least like cap off the main part stuff.
Really?
Like not the whole fucking main part, just I'm I don't know. I think 30% of the way through the like starting core missions, and then I got distracted and started doing whatever the fuck I wanted. So yeah, I want to at least finish that off and see what it leads to. But otherwise, yeah, I don't know. It's a hard one to get me to go back into though, because I mean, I could play a game that feels like it's underbaked and unfinished, or I could play one of the best fucking shooters I've played in a long fucking time, which is Battlefield 5, which I am absolutely loving. Like it feels like last year in PUBG to me again. Like it's not. I'm under no fucking illusions. I do not think it's going to be as revolutionary, but I am frequently playing it at lunch and accidentally playing for 4 hours. Like playing it, being all like, yeah, I'll just stay for one more map, and then suddenly it's like 5 o'clock, and I'm like, wow, I have pissed away my fucking afternoon. I would love to continue playing, but if I don't do some work, I am going to not sleep at all. So, yeah, like it's fucking awesome. I cannot believe how much I think they've nailed this like launch. No, actually, launch is not the correct word. Because they have fucked up this launch. Some people have it now. Some people have it for 3 hours now. You have it for fucking like half a week or something, I think. You can only play when the moon is in this phase. Like, the launch of this has been nothing but a fucking train wreck. But, yeah. As a game, it is probably the best I've seen a Battlefield come out as a game in a long fucking time. In maybe even since 2. Like, because, yeah, I love every map. Like, there isn't a map that I hate. And I'm like trying to think about what made me hate the 2 maps that I hated on 1, which was Sewers and Sinai.
It's all so
yeah, like they did it correct, right? Like they laid that shit out correctly.
Yeah, the ones we didn't like were either like overbalanced, like straight lines.
Yeah, or Sinai, I guess, is technically a straight line plus G down here off in fucking Western Australia where nobody gives a fuck about it. Like, pointless. Utterly pointless. I hate those maps. Yeah, these ones, they're not like that. Yeah, they're properly laid out. And they're good as well. Like, the fucking... I think the one I'm probably most tired of, like, because I think the way the map rotation works, when a new server kicks off, you will tend to play it a lot. Is Fjell, which is the mountain map. And I only tire that one because it is a fucking pilot's wet dream. They have a fucking field day on that map.
Yeah.
And there's just not enough.
There's not enough opportunity to take them down because Like,
well, you
there's
can't
mountains
spawn in
covering.
a tank. Yeah, you can't spawn in a tank, so you can't get the fucking AA tank in. So your only options are AA emplacements, and by now every pilot knows exactly where those are, and they bomb the fuck out of them every single time they fly past. So you just get sort of fucking bone zoned if you're trying to take them down. You just have to sort of avoid them. And so that sucks a bit. But like, even that map is fucking amazing. Every time you fire a gun in that map, it echoes like nothing else. It sounds fucking spectacular. It is the sound. I think Nate said it in his Oz Games review, maybe his piece for Red Bull for me.
Right.
But like I agree with him. I do not know how they somehow make the sound better every single Battlefield game. There is no game that compares in terms of sound. Red Dead is probably the closest that I've experienced in recent memory. Like, there are moments where the sound in Red Dead is just spectacular. And Battlefield is constantly amazing sound. That like that momentary delay when you see the fucking V1, like in that video where I am where they shoot a V1 directly at me, and I'm a couple of 100 meters away from another V1 landing, and so you see it land, and then there's a microsecond before you actually hear the sound of it. Like, they model that fucking explosion, shit like that. Like, just fucking amazing. So yeah, Fiel in particular is that sound, the echoing of the mountains, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. But yeah, there's, apart from not knowing how to deal with pilots when you don't have an AA tank available, like there's nothing that I don't like about it. Like, it's just, it's so well done. There are tiny quality of life improvements that they could do, but otherwise, I think it's spectacular. Yeah, it's the best fucking, like, at launch version of Battlefield, I think, since Battlefield 2. Like, it just come out of the gates really fucking strong. Great maps. And like, the other thing is, like, there's more stuff coming. They've got more maps coming. They're committed to that shit in a way that they haven't been before, which I think is really good. I don't know. Yeah. What do you think so far? Because you've played it a little bit less than me. I've got, 30 hours already on record. So
what am I, like level 15 or something? Around there.
Right. Yeah.
I'll talk about negatives.
Sure.
For whatever reason, and I don't know why, the second or third time I booted it up, I was getting like 3 frames. And it turned out that DirectX 12 had switched on for some reason.
Oh, right, yeah.
And like, I don't know why it happened, but I was talking to, like, through it with Nate, and he's like, check DirectX 12 if that's running. And it was running, and as soon as I switched it off, I had to obviously restart the game.
Yeah.
And it started working again. So I don't know what was going on. I've had like a couple of crashes. I don't like the menus. I think the UI is terrible. The menu system they've got, it's still not great. Like,
It's a bit slow.
Like, I think it's bad. Like, going outside of the game when you get unlocks to...
Oh, that's annoying as fuck, yeah. No,
So,
that's
like,
one of the quality of life things that I think they could absolutely improve.
Yeah, like, here's all the shit you've unlocked for this gun. Skins and new reticles and all this stuff. And it's like, but you actually have to leave the game. And fuck that, because trying to get back into the game, you'll be sitting there for half an hour while you're waiting for the queue to fill up. Or for a queue to free up. Yeah, I don't get why it's not... Like, why can't you do that in the game? Why can't I be like, oh, I want to touch this new thing that I got, or whatever? It's so dumb. So that's bad. I think I haven't played the single player, but I still think the single player is pretty average, maybe below average even. It didn't blow me away at the preview event that I played it.
I played through them. I think one of them, the fucking jail guy, the SAS guy, bad mission. Don't like the story. I do like the gameplay, but it is sort of Far Cry 5 light.
Yeah.
Right? It feels like you're taking on an outpost, and it's not quite as good as what Far Cry ever did. But I think the other two stories are really good. Tiralua and
Nautilus.
Nautilus. Like, I think they're really good stories. So, and I think they're really well done. Like, I think the voice acting's good. So,
yeah,
I didn't dislike them.
What else is there? I like that they have fixed the attrition stuff with the, you don't have to spawn as support and just give everybody ammo. I think it's better that everybody starts with ammo now.
I disagree, but
I just didn't like it. I don't see why I have to spawn and give everyone ammo. It was just dumb. Why hasn't everybody already got ammo at the start of the game? I guess my other thing is, like, because they've lowered it to 4 players per squad, it feels like it's sort of like the recon sniper, right?
yeah.
Yeah, it seems like that for a team-based game that they're going for now. Like, the sniper seems like detracted from what they're trying to get players to do, like stick with your team type of thing.
Yep.
So that decision is weird. If it was 5 people, then maybe I could understand. You either go with a sniper or a tank person, and if you're not in a tank, maybe you can go sniper. But with 4, I don't know. It just seems like not enough, because then you're just rolling around with 3 people.
I think you can get away with 3 people. I think if you've got one other person who's watching your back, me and Nate have 100% held points against multiple squads as just a gruesome twosome of a support and a medic, and I think you can do it. I think 3 is fine. It sucks having a tank person, but it sucks harder having a recon. I think the biggest problem is that they have nerfed the combat recon, the like aggressive recon that you guys used to play in Battlefield 1.
Yeah,
it's just you can't do it anymore, I think.
Well, the guns that you start off with are just trash because they don't shoot fighter stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, so you basically you do have to sit back, and it's detrimental to your squad. The like other thing is that it absolutely doesn't play into the squad play mechanic. That's probably my biggest criticism of the game, is that they don't want people to play as recon, clearly, because none of the game is based around supporting that play, but they also don't seem to have the nuts to just remove a class, and I don't understand why. Like, why is it still there if you don't want people to play as it? You know, like, I understand people jump in and they want their enemy at the gates situation. They want their enemy at the gates scenario. It never fucking happens. Like, the times when you're counter sniping are so few and far between. You are so much better off literally just punting cunts with your fucking MP40 as a medic. The moment I see a glint, like, I will just shoot at them. I don't give a fuck. I know suppression is going to make it hard for them to actually blink me, so I don't give a fuck. I'll just shoot them. I see the glints, I shoot at the glints, and then I get in cover. Easy fucking peasy. You still get beamed every time you don't see the glint in time. Fine, whatever. But they're not contributing to their team, so they will inevitably lose. And that, to me, means that, like, the recon as a class is specifically not supposed to exist. If they can't contribute to the win, then why are they in the game?
they're just there to get kills,
right? But why? Like, and if everything you do is built around getting people to be a part of the win, then why are they in the game? Like, there is the fact that, like, they've gone back to, like, actual like resource tickets based on, like, lives. So losing a player and them not being revived will actually lose you a ticket. So you could argue that a recon has the facility to impact the team's score. The utility available to teams to stop that from being a problem is too great. You get a medic with a smoke grenade, and you get a support with the crate, the ammo crate, and yeah, it's over. Like, they're not making any impact. You drop a smoke grenade between the sniper and the down player, you get them back up. easy peasy. Unless the sniper is specifically still watching the down player, waiting for the medic to come over, and they pop them through the smoke. But considering you don't get headshots, you don't get kills without headshots, like it's just not going to happen. Like I compare it to like the counterplay, right? There's the counterplay. Well, no, Recon isn't a counterplay for anyone. It seems like everyone is a counter to someone else, except for Recon. Recon's not a counter to any particular strategy. Like there's no version of the game where being a Recon is specifically going to help you. You go plane to bomb the fuck out of points and like stop caps from happening. You go AA tank to stop planes from doing shit. You go regular tank to kill AA tanks and to siege bust. You go assault to kill tanks. You go medic to get assaults back up. You go support to resupply medics. That's the circle of life, right? It all seems to make sense, right? Like all of that makes sense. And then there's Recon farting about on the back of the fucking on the edges of the map, plinking people where they can and not contributing at all. And the thing is, right, I get why you would do it. I get wanting to jump in and just like plink some, like headshot, bean some motherfuckers, right? I get it. But Battlefield clearly doesn't want you to do it. So why would you play this game? Why would you do that in this game? You know?
Yeah.
It's such a it's an anomaly. It doesn't like it just feels like it doesn't belong.
Right.
Like as a class. I think they can't get rid of it because there'd be an outcry. But they so blatantly, obviously, to me, don't want it to be a part of the game anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
So, something I think is quite interesting is that they've gotten rid of the behemoth like victory conditions, or like this team is losing quite significantly. So now we're going to give them a blimp or a giant tank or a giant boat to try and crawl back into the game. That's been completely removed. What I find interesting is that a lot of the games I've played haven't seemed to be like, there hasn't been a lot where it's like, we just got fucking stomped. I've seen a lot of games where we've lost within 10 tickets, like a bunch. Right. And I don't understand what they've done to balance that. Like, how are they doing that?
Well, you look at like situations where there was commonly a behemoth spawn, right? Because there wasn't always a behemoth in Battlefield 1. But you look at the situations where there was commonly a behemoth spawn, and it was in like maps where it was very difficult to get to a couple of the cap points. Like Amiens was, I think you very regularly had a behemoth spawn, the train. And that was because you had to cross the train tracks to cap A and B, right? Or what was that? Mons Grappa? Is that the one? There were a couple of, like, I think it was E and F, right? Were exceedingly difficult to get to. And so if one team could cap those bits, cap those points, then they would generally hold them for a long enough period of time that the entire balance of the game, it was irreversible. The other team was never going to come back from it. And so the behemoth was a way for them to sort of cheat their way out of that imbalance of the map design. And I think that doesn't exist in the map design in Battlefield 5 because they actually did it properly. Right. I don't know. That's my operating theory. A lot of games, I've had 4 games inside of 5 tickets. That is staggering.
Yeah, I've had a lot.
I don't think I can remember one inside of 5 tickets on Battlefield 1. I don't think I can remember a single one. Like, never have I had a game that close. And Battlefield 5, close games are almost the norm. Like, couple of blowouts. Generally, I notice I have blowout. I'm on a blowout losing team when I am playing solo and I'm just fucking about. I've spent a couple of games lately trying to level up my AA tanks, and if I'm doing that, I'm not contributing at all. I'm not even trying to contribute. And I think, like, you can tend to notice, there's just one team that has people contributing and one team that just doesn't. But if you have like a squad on each side, you just need one squad. I think that's the other thing in Battlefield 5. You just need one squad to be actively attempting to contribute to the win, and it can significantly change the face of the game. And if you don't have any squad actively attempting to fucking help, then it will just be a lopsided shot fest.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, my only complaint with it is the progression system really isn't explained from the start, because you start off with guns and they're all unlocked from what we could tell. So each time you level up a weapon, it's like, oh, you get an ability. You can choose like a skill tree, and it's like, you can put one in this area, or to give yourself better recoil, or this one here will give you like a less spread on your gun when you shoot at certain things. But they just don't do like a really great job of explaining like that's a thing you need to go and do, because when we fired it up in the beta, like you had to go in and unlock all these different abilities, and then when we fired it up in the full game, I thought I had like a special like version of my review copy was like everything was unlocked. Yeah,
I thought it had carried over from the beta or something. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't remember unlocking any of this shit. But yeah, no, that's just the initial starter weapon for each class.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be some sort of like taster of how the specialization system work, but they don't explain it even a little bit.
Or they're not. What they could have done was being like, "Hey, here's 5 points. Go put them in the one you want," as opposed to we've put 5 in there for you. Because I looked at them and I was like, "They're not the ones I want. Like, I want to do it. I want to do this one over here. Like, you got it nearly right, but I want to change one of them."
Well, you can reset it for free.
Yeah, you can reset it for free.
Any of the starter games, but starter guns rather. But yeah,
but it made me think I had a special account. Like I was, because I got a press account, everything's unlocked, and I was about to fucking light them up, because at the same time, I'm like, that's not cool.
That's yeah. No, that wasn't. But
but otherwise, the rest of the game, I think it's the best Battlefield that I've played in a while. I think I said this last time we played Battlefield, when this one came out, and I was surprised at how different it was from the last one. But at the same time, it's still Battlefield.
Yeah,
I think what I was surprised about is how different the weapons felt, because like you've got hollow sights and things like that now, and I think that makes a huge difference, because I used quite a lot of. I mean, there were hollow sights in Battlefield 1, but they weren't they weren't great. They took up a lot of the screen as well, which is I guess why I started to shift towards recon towards the end of Battlefield 1, like when we were playing that the last couple of months, because I could just ping people really quickly with this gun and kill them quite quickly. Or I'd change weapons to stuff with hollow sights, as opposed to, for probably half, maybe 60% of the time I played Battlefield, I'd play Assault and just use iron sights the entire time.
Yeah. And
you don't have to use iron sights in this game, because everything's got hollow, and it's so much easier. Like I'm just fucking destroying people every day.
Me too.
It's awesome. So easy.
It's good.
Yeah.
I really, really, really like the squad play. I think it is such a fucking good move. Like, I think they've nailed that balance. You absolutely can get away with just like 3 people, like take an assault so that you can take on tanks, and the 4th person can be whatever the fuck they want. I would prefer if they were another support or another medic, but they can be a second assault, and you guys can go you can go on a tank killing party, and that's awesome. They can be a tank driver, and you can pretend like they don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I just they've fucking killed it with it. Yeah. The building stuff is. I think that's the only thing. The main reason I don't like starting with all the ammo is because it makes building seem pointless, almost pointless. There are a couple of instances where building is super helpful, but otherwise, yeah, it just feels like, why the fuck would I build? I don't really need to. All I'm really going to do is eventually help out the other team. You know.
I think that's the thing you've got to worry about is, should I be building now, or do I just leave it? Is it on my side of the map, or which is generally like, if it's on our side of the map, then yeah, I'll do it. But otherwise, like if we're standing around capping a point, then may as well do something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, when you get to those situations where you're in the middle points and all of a sudden, like, oh, the house I'm in that used to be here is now fucking gone. But instead you can now build sandbags around, and at least you got cover. So like those situations are good.
I like high caliber bullet penetration. You notice that shit? If you've got a fucking MG34, you can shoot through sandbags. That's terrifying. That's utterly terrifying. Or maybe it's the MG42. I don't know. One of the fucking support machine guns punch through sandbags like they don't exist. Yeah, it's scary as fuck.
Oh, I shoot through a lot of walls, because I play support, and I'm just like, oh, you ran behind a wall. Well, too bad.
That starting support gun is going to be nerfed. I think it'll be nerfed this week or something. Like, it has to be nerfed. It's crazy. That gun's fucking bananas.
Yeah, that's all I'm using.
Shit up. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I might use the level 20 support gun, but
because that's what we were using during the beta, right? The one with the top loaded. Is it top loaded?
I think side top. Yeah,
I can't remember. But that thing was nuts, and then that's been nerfed. I looked at the stats, and it's like trash at close range.
They fucked up the hip fire is bullshit. It's pointless.
Yeah,
it's garbage.
So now I'm just using the gun and gun, because I looked at it, I'm like, yeah, I'm wrecking people with it. Might as well just stick with this.
It rips. It rips. For medics, I use MP40, and I don't think I'll ever change. It's fucking amazing. I can almost outshoot an assault with it. So why the fuck not?
Yeah.
Assaults, I'm actually trying all the different guns out. I don't really have a preference. I will default back to the Tommy gun, but yeah. And I haven't played a single second of Recon yet, so.
I think I played for a little bit, but it was solo.
Yeah.
All I've played is, I think, support, because that's what I was playing during the beta, because nobody wanted to play support.
Right.
I came late in the beta, and everyone was like, you need to play support. I was like, all right, fair enough. Guess I'm playing it support.
Do you use the crate or the pouches? Because I know you don't like the crate, right?
So I didn't like the crate during the beta because it didn't give you anything. Now it gives you secondaries, but that's only for certain classes. So for me, it's useless, because all it gives me is a mine, like an extra mine, and I'm like,
it's pretty good, dude.
I'm like, fuck that. Nah.
Switch your mine to the Bouncing Betty, the anti-personnel mine.
But do you know how many fucking tanks I blow up?
Oh yeah,
I think I've blown up more tanks in the last week than my entire lifetime in Battlefield 1. I get a tank kill all the time. Like, I'll just run around on the road,
you get them
and I'm like,
I'm
gonna put him here, and like 5 minutes later, a tank kill. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm not like nowhere near them.
The good thing about the crate though is if you get the Bouncing Betties, because you start with one mine.
Yeah.
If you put the crate down, you can get a second.
Yeah.
And so you can put two of them down next to one another, and that actually kills people. A single Bouncing Betty, no kill. Two Bouncing Betties next to one another, insta kill. I've gotten a fuck ton of kills with Bouncing Betties. I've been lit up in the chat for my Bouncing Betties.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
So, but didn't they change the way crates work, where it used to be AoE with the crates, like you would resupply people in that area, Is that not how it used to work?
I don't think so.
Right.
Maybe that's BF1.
No, that's what I'm talking about. Battlefield 1.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how it
Like,
works.
you put a
Yeah.
crate down, and people in the area...
Everything in Battlefield 5 is more meticulous.
Yeah. So...
More, like, deliberate.
Right. So now you have to actually... If I put a crate down, you need to go and interact with it to pick up ammo. And I'm like... our playstyle doesn't really fit that too well. Because what I do is... someone will be out in front, like, because I'm support, I'm not out in front, so I'm supposed to be at back, or, you know, 2 or 3 people behind, and so while people are running, I'm throwing ammo patches at them. I'm constantly fucking throwing. I've got it balanced in my mouse now, like, it's on my mouse, so I don't have to move my finger away from right to press 3. I can just fucking keep throwing ammo, and so we're always moving, and so I'm always throwing ammo, whereas if I put a crate down, it's like all of a sudden our momentum stops. Our momentum stops, and we've got to
just call it out. I mean, it's not. We're only always running because we're on our way to somewhere else, right? Yeah. So it's only 200 meters before we get to the next spot where we're stopping for.
I don't think you understand how much ammo I throw. Like, I am throwing ammo all the time. I am getting so... Like, every time we're in fights, I'm standing and I can't see someone, I'm just... Ammo. I'm just standing there throwing ammo down.
For me, I think the pouches are way better if, like, you're trying to keep everyone apart from your squad up. But if you only give a fuck about your squad, box all the way, man. Crate all the way, I reckon. Because
we'll
the
see.
squad...
Maybe I'll swap for a little while.
It's too good having a fucking... the extra utility. It's like the extra fucking smoke grenade is fucking perfect. Or being able to replenish your smoke grenade is fucking amazing. I wish you could do your real grenade. That'd be good.
The other thing is that when I was playing it, it kept being like, oh no, you can't put your crate down here. You can't put your crate down here. And I'd be like, alright, well now I'm trying to find a fucking spot where I can put my crate down. And that was a bit annoying. So yeah, maybe I'll swap for a little while, see how I go. But otherwise, I'm quite enjoying just playing solo support and just throwing ammo at everyone.
I'm up to like level 5 mastery on the KE7, the support.
Yeah, I think I'm past that. I got like the gold, all the gold.
I'm like halfway through the gold tree on that bad boy. Yeah, it's good. I love the gun. It's definitely going to be nerfed. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'll stop playing support. And I'll go to assault. I'll find the next broken gun. Yeah, because like that's surprising because I was primarily assault in our Battlefield 1 team.
Yeah.
And then like towards the end is when I switched to recon.
Yeah.
For bits and pieces because that gun came out that the guys are like, yeah, this one's pretty broken. So I'm all right. I'll use that. But yeah, I haven't played assault at all, which is interesting. But a lot of tank kills still, which is surprising for me because I'm using mines, and so I just run up to tanks sometimes. I'll just stand on them and put them on top of them.
Nate worked out you can fucking impact grenade mines, and the explosion is stupid.
Oh, you just shoot them.
You can shoot them, but if you impact grenade them, the explosion seems like it's like fucking tripled or something. I don't know what the fuck it is, but you fuck shit up. It's amazing. It's the best. It's fantastic. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about that more. Unless there's anything else you want to say.
No.
Do you remember that time where you were like, we should bomb A, and I was like, no, we should bomb B, and then we bombed B and got a lot of points?
I do not. I have no idea what you're talking about. All of my instincts are flawless. Flawless. Actually, I got a bunch of Twitter videos. I made it to the top of the Battlefield subreddit.
Oh, nice.
With one of my videos.
Which one?
The one where they called the V1 on me. I was sitting in an AA tank, basically an entire round, just trying to level the fucking thing up. And I hunted so many planes that at one point, the other team stopped spawning into planes, like for 2 solid minutes. There was just no enemy planes. And so our planes had free fucking run on bombing the fuck out of this fucking map. Like nobody was there to stop them, and until they sent like a tank specifically to come get me, it blew me up, and then their plane started up again, and so I jumped back into the AA tank and went back to work. And eventually they called in the V1 rocket, which is the requisition points thing. And they called it directly in on me. And I sat there trying to shoot it down from the air because I figured that would be cool if you could. But as far as I can tell, you cannot. And then I realized that they called it in on me. And so I'm like, well, I guess they've earned this one. Fuck it. We'll just let it happen.
Yeah.
So I got exploded. But I probably could have driven away. If I'd because I did work out that it was coming for me pretty early. I was pretty committed to trying to shoot it down.
Yep.
Yeah, good stuff. There was another good one. The other good one was where I was hiding in those fucking bushes. That was fucking amazing. Did you see that? Did you see that one?
I feel like I have. Did you put it on Twitter or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spectacular. Yeah.
As usual, whenever I try to clip something, Shadow Player's been like, "Nah, mate, you're right."
Oh, that's.
Either it's not on, or like my last one is fucking flashing. It's like the game's got epilepsy or something. It's just like a disco. I don't know what that is.
Rough.
And that was our rocket that we nuked like everybody. It was good. Anyway, I'm sure we'll talk about that more next week.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. All right, some news. There's a lot to talk about this week in news again. There's a bunch. Let's start off with Microsoft announced they're acquiring 2 more studios. So, might remember from E3, they came out and announced quite a lot of studios they've acquired. I guess this is in like retaliation. No, that's not the right word. To sort of like them not putting out a lot of first-party games this generation.
Yeah.
And gearing up till next gen, like we know they're working on a next gen console. They've talked about it. Probably see something in the next 2 years, 2-3 years, and they don't want the same mistake that they had happen with this generation, where they just got slaughtered by Sony's first party lineup. So they announced another 2 studios, Obsidian, who they made games like Fallout New Vegas and Knights of the Old Republic. Any other recent ones?
I don't think so. Did they do Wasteland too?
Yeah, they did. No, that was In Exile.
Oh, right, yeah. They did a Kickstarter game though, right?
I'm just trying to look through and see. Alpha Protocol. This like list is really not great. Tyranny.
Tyranny. Yeah, that's the one, the most recent one.
Yeah, Pillars of Eternity, which.
Oh yeah, actually, that would be more recent, I think.
Which is their most recent game.
Yeah.
Which reviewed pretty well. Yep. So Obsidian is there. Second game is In Exile Entertainment, who is Wasteland 2 or Wasteland 3. The Wasteland series.
Wasteland 2. It's interesting that they've gone for very hardcore RPG makers. Yeah. I think that's an interesting development, because if they're gearing up for a console release, I don't really see how those studios play into that 100%.
No, that's looking at 5 years from now, maybe.
Yeah, but
or maybe they've been working on something since
maybe
a year or two ago. They just announced it. I doubt.
I don't know. It's exciting though. I'm excited. They're both great studios, but we could see what they come up with. I'm about it. Cool.
Yeah, for sure.
What's next?
Let's go with PUBG's coming to PlayStation 4 in December.
Cool. Fine.
Fair enough. People were pretty excited about this announcement because PUBG came out and said we're making a big announcement, and it was just that, which people knew was coming anyway. They didn't talk about a new map or anything, so yeah, bit of a letdown. Cool. After that, we've got Rainbow Six Siege. Some new characters have been announced. 2 new ones.
Moroccan, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Have you watched the videos?
I watched one of them and I was very confused.
Okay. So the first one was, it looks like a another trap hero, a defender,
Yeah.
from what I can tell. And he is able to put like electrical devices onto reinforced walls, but it looks like specifically hatches, right? Is that what you got from it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah.
So it looks like a counter to. Looks like I think I wrote in the chat, our group chat, like he looks like a roof bandit. Like, so bandit can put electrical batteries onto reinforced walls to stop people from doing things on there. This guy looks like he's able to put them on the roof. But yeah, that just, like, now I'm confused because we're just speculating at the moment. Like, what does this person do? Why can they put them on walls, or is it just specifically hatches? In which case, if he could do them on walls, why not just use bandit? Like, there's been talk about bandit getting a change, so I don't know. Yeah, I feel like it'd be interesting to just make this person be like the electrical one and maybe change bandit a little bit. I think that'd be a cool way to go about it, but we'll see. The second person is Nomad. And she is able to, from what I could tell, is an attacker. And it looks like, from the video, is able to place traps in the environment, and it will like knock people around or something.
Yeah.
Like, because you see them come flying out of the air, so I don't know if it means they're getting knocked about, like launched into the air, or like a concussion thing.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell from that video, but I'm sure
it's on a gun, right? So that's pretty interesting. Yeah, I really don't understand how it works either. I don't know. I don't really understand either of them, to be honest.
Yeah, and these are teasers. They haven't explained anything yet. We'll get a full explanation, I guess, at some stage.
Yeah.
Isn't there a big tournament this weekend? Is that what's going on?
Is that this weekend?
It's free to play this weekend.
All right. Cool.
Maybe it's not. Yeah. Dead Cells patch notes. Do you have these up?
Yes. Here it is. Fucking tons. Version 1.1. Thanks, Racy, for pointing these out on our Discord. So they're adding a new custom game mode where you can customize your runs the way you want, unlock and relock items, enable special gameplay adjustments, change the rules. You can do whatever you want in a run, which is pretty fucking sick. They changed the cooldown mechanic, which is a bummer because it was my favorite mutation situation, but they're removing those mutations, adding 4 new ones so that now you can reduce cooldown by killing enemies, killing at distance, parrying, and by dealing crits. So, like, changing up that system is like, it's a good idea. I was just very used to how it previously worked. Bosses don't drop legendaries anymore, which I think is odd. Only available as random world loots. Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like that ramps up the RNG of getting one pretty significantly. You were sort of always guaranteed one with the boss drop legendaries. So I don't know that I like this change necessarily, but apparently we were just getting too many of them. Just make it every second boss or something. I don't fucking know. There was another good one. I can't remember what the fuck it was. Time doors. Nope, that wasn't it. The mob auto-scaling mechanic has been removed completely. So it used to be the mobs would scale to how powerful you are, but now every level has a fixed difficulty level that won't adapt to you, which means the further you get in, the more powerful they will become, so you will also need to become more powerful to keep up with them, which I think is an awesome change. Yeah. But shitloads of stuff, like crazy amounts of stuff. Staggering. Have a look. It's on our thing, on our Discord, if you want to have a look at all of them. This game, already amazing, keeps getting better. Really good.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
Possibly a Game of the Year nominee for some places.
Definitely a contender. Cool. Yeah.
The next one we got up here is some Bethesda news. Starfield and TES 6 will not have a new engine. Well, they're not going to be using a new engine for that game.
They're using the same engine as 2002's Morrowind.
Yeah.
Which will, by the time
20-year-old
TES 6 comes out, will be 20 years old. Fair enough. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. There was a story on Kotaku that I was not a fan of that argued that the way we think about engines is misleading. Basically, it said that, blaming Fallout 76's issues on the engine because you saw the same bugs across the 7 different games is incorrect, because technically it's not the engine at fault. It's just the code underlying the game, and that's not what the engine is. So it's basically an argument of semantics. At here that's actually that's not the engine. The engine consists of it doesn't fucking matter. We define what words mean, and it's the fucking engine, and it's fucked. It's got the same problems every single fucking game. So I look forward to uncapping my frame rate in TES 6 and being able to
fly.
Fly. Cool.
Fly on a dragon.
All right, cool. What's next?
Yeah, I guess we'll see. This is big news that came out today. The Sony has pulled out of E3 2019.
Huge.
Yeah, it's
a big deal.
I mean, we've seen studios like EA, Activision, 2K pull out of E3 of the last few years, but not a first party publisher or a first party platform holder.
No.
Who holds half of one of the floors.
Yeah, it's pretty big. That's it for E3, right? That's the death of the E3.
Well, not next year.
What do you mean?
maybe the year after.
Why not next year?
Well, because Microsoft has announced they're still going, and I'm sure there's a lot of other people that are still going. It's still gonna be busy.
I don't know, man. It feels like, I mean, certainly not. I can't imagine that it's worth you flying over, right? Yeah,
I mean, the thing was, they didn't have a big presence anyway, Sony, this year that just went. I mean, we saw their E3 presentation, and they had a small handful of games compared to what they've shown in the past.
Sure.
Their presentation was weird, and maybe this is just them having a tanny, because a lot of us didn't like what they did with their presentation of it. Games they showed were good, but the way they handled it, here's The Last of Us, now we're going to get all the media to move to another room. It was cool that they tried something different and sort of thought about it out of the box, but they just didn't pull it off at all.
No.
And then they dragged everyone into this other room, and while they were doing that, they had this weird sort of panel on the screen and talking about other things that the media or the people at the event didn't get to see. And and then they showed a bunch of games, which were cool, but at the end of the day, it was only a couple of games they showed. They didn't show as much as what Microsoft had, so I think every year sort of Sony has come out, and they've just smashed it every year. And this is the first year where it was they had good stuff, but there was definitely some missteps. And I guess, I mean, it's possible that maybe Microsoft comes out next year and does announce a new console. And for them, Sony, maybe that's their way of saying, well, we can't lose E3, we're not there. So fuck it, we're just not coming.
Maybe? I don't know.
Nah, it's not. I'm just being a dick.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it's a huge deal. I think it's an interesting step. I don't know what happens to E3 from here on out.
Yeah.
Are they doing something they've already said they're not doing something separate alongside of E3. So they're not doing the thing that Microsoft does, where they hold, this year they did like LA Theater, I think it's LA Live, whatever. They've got like a big room next door where Nintendo used to do all their stuff, and they'd show off all their games there. And then you had like EA, which was off-site in a different location, showing off all their things. Like, they're not doing that. They're just not going to be at E3. So, yeah, it's a big move from them. Are they going to have their own separate thing at another time of the year? Are they going all in on Gamescom, which is easily the biggest consumer gaming event around the world?
Maybe the timing's better for them. I think they'll have. I don't know. I think they'll have their own thing.
Yeah, because they've done what, PlayStation Experience or something like that. Was that what it was called?
Yeah.
It's where they used to show off all like the Vita stuff. Like,
yeah.
Maybe they're bringing that back, and they'll do like their own expo, or like their own BlizzCon, or who else does stuff like, their own PAX or something like that, like the celebration of PlayStation games, or like what EA is doing now, their own thing, but they're not going to do it at E3 because it's too saturated. They'll do it elsewhere where they can just dominate a news cycle.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Still,
yeah, I don't know.
It's really strange, and I guess we'll find out what happens to E3. I think this year it'll be fine. Sorry, in 2019, unless we start seeing other people starting to pull out, it could be different. But 2020 could be interesting.
Yeah, I think next year will be, not great.
Like, does Fortnite just fill up half that hall now? Like, they had a big chunk this year, but who fills up that space? Is it just going to be like energy drink booths?
Yeah, I hope so. That's my dream. Yeah, energy drink booths. It's a good idea.
It's a good idea. Yeah. The Intel Extreme Masters is coming in 2019 to Sydney.
It is.
Did we talk? We haven't talked about this yet, have we? No.
We couldn't have. It was announced on Monday.
Monday.
Yeah, May 3 and 5 to 5 again. 3 days, 16 teams, $250,000 prize pool. There will be show match stuff again, side matches, stuff like that. I'm excited. It's going to be huge. It's also, now that I live over this side of the city, not as big a fucking cunt to get to. So yeah, I'm pumped. I loved it this year. I think it's going to be awesome next year. I spoke to Nick Vanzetti, who's now the Senior Vice President of ESL Asia Pacific and Japan or something. I don't know. He used to be the Managing Director of ESL Australia, but he got a promotion. I spoke to him about it and got a bunch of extra details. It's pretty good. Like, most notable, I'd say, was probably that it seems like he's trying to organise to do an event in Brisbane and maybe in New Zealand.
Cool.
Not on IEM, but like something. And the other thing I thought was interesting out of it was, now I've blanked on it. Fuck. There was another interesting thing. I don't know. Go look at it. Oh yeah, they're going to work on doing more Counter-Strike tournaments. In Australia, apparently they're not doing enough already, which is interesting because they've got IEM and they've got their ESL Australia, New Zealand stuff. So it feels like they're doing quite a bit, but apparently they're going for more. So that's pretty cool. Have a read of the interview on Red Bull. That's about it. I don't know. Any thoughts? Are you going to go?
I'm sure I'll pop down at some stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
It is on the other side of the city for you, so
it is
still a cunt to get to.
Yeah, it's like 3 trains or something stupid.
Yeah, ludicrous. Yeah. All right. Cool.
All right. The last one we've got here is the Game Awards are happening end of the year.
Right.
And the nominees have been announced. So the Game Awards are, we talk about it every year. It's a collection of media outlets from around the world who nominate their favorite games of the year and across a range of categories. And then it looks like this year and last year there was public voting as well, along with media also doing like final voting. And then all those come together and they do a big presentation at the end of the year. It's sort of like one of the only big official, one of the big, like a bunch of media outlets from around the world get together and vote on something, like the game of the year around the world. You've got like game developer awards and things like that, but they're developers, and this is like the I guess the media one. I think there are three or four outlets in Australia that vote for it. So yeah, I had a part in this one this year. So Survivor voted. I know you've voted in the past, right, for things like OzGamers and helped out.
Yeah, and I think like it's a good system. Like I don't know, I never really get into the shows. I get into it for the memes more than anything. But
the Chic robot.
yeah. But like, yeah, I don't know. There's an air of prestige to it that is sometimes undercut by the commercialism. But I don't think anyone at the end of the day like thinks of it as anything other than what it actually is.
Yeah, I mean, they need to make money somewhere, right?
They need to make money, yeah. So I think people can dig it.
Yeah.
I have put my votes in the community section already. I voted for Dota in everything esports related.
Right.
OG is team of the year. Dota is esports game of the year. The international is tournament of the year. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, I think you might put a Counter Strike for game of the year. I'm not sure.
Right. Do you want to quickly run through some of these big categories?
Sure.
We'll start with the big one, game of the year. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. That was a weird one. I'm not sure. Celeste. I haven't played it, but I feel like that was a weird one to put in there as well. Have you played it?
Yeah, it's good.
It's good. Is it better than Dead Cells though?
No.
That's why it's a weird one to put in there.
Yeah.
God of War, Marvel's Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World. I think that was a mistake, that one. And Red Dead Redemption 2. We're going to get some hate for that.
Obvious winner.
For that Monster Hunter comment.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I agree with you.
Best ongoing game, we've got Destiny 2 Forsaken. I think that was Steve Wright that got that one in there. Fortnite is in there. That's acceptable. No Man's Sky is in there. That was a mistake. Overwatch is in there, and the winner of this category is Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, which is
that's one option, I guess.
I don't know. Fuck it. I'll just say it. Yeah, I voted for that one. I put that down there.
Fortnite's going to destroy it. I don't see how you could think of it anything else beating Fortnite. Fortnite will win in any category it's in.
Yeah, I think I put Fortnite and Rainbow Six Siege in there. This was an interesting category. Best... Oh, no, it wasn't this one. Sorry, my bad. I just saw a picture and I was like, no. Best Game Direction, A Way Out. Detroit Become Human. God of War. Marvel's Spider-Man. Red Dead Redemption 2. We've got Best Narrative. Detroit Become Human. God of War. Life is Strange 2. Episode 1. Marvel's Spider-Man. Red Dead Redemption 2. Best Art Direction, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War, Octopath Traveler, haven't played it, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Return of the Obra Dinn.
Obra Dinn, yeah, that's that game from the dude who made Papers, Please.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I might have to check that out. Yeah. And then there's like Best Score.
Red Dead's going to win all of these categories, right?
Yeah, Best Audio Design, presented by Dolby. Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Forza Horizon 4, God of War, Marvel's Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption.
Battlefield not in it. Battlefield's not in that.
Battlefield's not allowed to be nominated. It comes out too late. The cutoff.
That's fucking bananas. Battlefront should have been. The only thing that game did... Yeah, Battlefront should have been in the... Like, that's literally the only thing that they did correct was the fucking sound in that game. It's perfect. But I guess everyone forgot about it. I don't fucking know. ridiculous.
Was
Red
it
Dead
not
will win.
voted last year?
What, Battlefront?
Yeah,
Would it not have missed the cutoff?
last year. I think it made it in.
Oh yeah, because it came out earlier.
I feel like it made it.
Idiots.
Yeah. So the cutoff this year was I don't know the exact date. I think it was the 14th.
Right.
Or maybe the 10th. I can check really quickly, but it was it was definitely not out. I think it's for public consumption. It needs to be out at a certain time, and it missed the cutoff for that. So
Right.
yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, this next one is... I've lost the page. Best performance. Brian Deckard as Connor from Detroit Become Human. Christopher Judge as Kratos for God of War. Melissa Anthony Mahutz as Cassandra in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Roger Clark as Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2. And Yuri as Peter Parker in Marvel's Spider-Man. This is a category that I was close. I didn't put Assassin's Creed Odyssey down or Detroit Become Human. When I saw Detroit Become Human, I was like, okay, that's probably one that I forgot about. Because I thought he was probably the best part of that game. Him and the cop.
Yeah.
Who I can't remember. Yeah, hands down, if they would have made a game about them two, probably
100%.
would have been a pretty freaking great game. But
Well, would have been better than what it was, 100%.
Yeah, than what it was. The two that the one that I'm disappointed is not in there is I put in Atreus for God of War.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And the other person I put in for my other pick was because it's to submit 5. So my two that were missing was or maybe it was 3 that were missing. John Marston in Red Dead Redemption 2, and also Dutch. I think was my other
Dutch, 100%. I don't know about John Marston necessarily. But
Sorry,
Dutch.
Yep, you're right. It was Dutch and Arthur that I put in for the 2.
Yeah,
I'm looking at my thing now.
Because I mean, Dutch's performance is fucking amazing. Like the way he's able to capture her confidence in that man is spectacular. I think I said it already. Like Far Cry 5 is a game about a cult, like specifically about cults. But Dutch Van der Linde is a better cult leader than anyone in Far Cry 5.
Yeah,
and it's all that performance. He is amazing. That's fucking awesome. He should have been. Yeah, it's a travesty that he's not in it.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah. So I put 2 Red Deads in, God of War, Spider-Man, and God of War. Sorry, 2 God of Wars as well.
Right.
So that was my 5.
Yeah, and boy should have made the cut as well. I thought it was quite good.
I think it's going to be a toss-up between Arthur Morgan and Christopher Judge.
Yeah. I reckon Christopher Judge will probably take it.
Yeah, I think he might take it.
Yeah.
Like I like the Peter Parker stuff, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's on anywhere near. Yeah. Anyway, there's some games for Impact games here. I didn't play any of them. I think we'll just skip that. Best independent game: Celeste, Dead Cells, Into the Breach, Return Again, and The Messenger.
Dead Cells.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a tough one. I think there's a 3-way tie there. Celeste, Dead Cells, Into the Breach. I think Into the Breach could be a sleeper. A lot of people really like that game.
They're all wrong.
Yeah, they were all. Best mobile game, whatever. Best VR game is here. Best action game, Call of Duty, Dead Cells, Destiny 2, Far Cry 5 made the list for whatever reason.
Oh yeah, cool.
Mega Man 5. Best action game is action adventure game is Assassin's Creed, God of War, Marvel Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider for whatever reason. Best RPG, Dragon Quest 11, Monster Hunter World, Ni no Kuni 2, Octopath, and Pillars of Eternity 2, which is what we talked about before.
Yep.
There's best fighting category, there's best family game category. There is a best strategy game category. I didn't vote for any strategy games this year.
Right.
Best sports and racing, they've combined them. I think that's what we do at our awards now.
It sure is. They're copying us.
Yeah, there's a bunch of games in there. Best multiplayer game, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Destiny 2. I think all these Destiny 2 stuff is Steve Wright. He must have just voted 10 times. Fortnite is in here, Monster Hunter World is in here, and Sea of Thieves is in here. Let me check. I think I put Sea of Thieves down as well. I can't
And which category was this?
Best multiplayer.
Multiple. Sea of Thieves. You put Sea of Thieves down. Fucking hell.
Oh, I didn't vote in this one. Oops.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Fortnite wins. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
I maybe
I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
Fortnite's going to win.
Yeah, I think Fortnite wins that. Yep, easy.
Yeah.
There's a best student game category, which is interesting. Best debut indie game is here as well. Best esports game, which you talked about before, Counter-Strike Go, Dota 2, Fortnite, League of Legends, and Overwatch. Yeah, I'm biased. Yep. I think Dota 2 still does the best one. Again, could go anywhere. I mean, at one stage, these were all not community voted, so you would see, like, Overwatch win, and you're like, no. Why? But I still think it's going to be weighted, so it's hard to tell where that one could go. Best esports player presented by HP. We got Sonic Fox, Takedo. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
looks like
Takedo.
a League. No, he's a
Street Fighter.
He's got a thing in his hand, so he's got a deck in his hand. Uzi, Simple, and
I think I voted for Simple.
Yeah, I don't know any of these people.
Sonic Fox is the furry dude who won Smash at Evo.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know any of these guys. Best esports team, Astralis. That looks like the Counter-Strike team.
Yep.
Yeah, Cloud9.
League of Legends team, I think.
Oh, it says here League of Legends. Never mind. I'm like looking at the pictures, the faces, being like, what do I think these people are? But it says there. Okay, Fnatic is League of Legends. London Spitfire is Overwatch. And OG, obviously, is Dota 2. I think they should win, right? Fucking.
They should, yes, absolutely. They like just the storyline. If it doesn't win, I'm gonna be so fucking salty. Oh man, I'm gonna be so salty. Anyway, yeah.
And then you've got a best esports coach, which is cool. Best esports event, a lot of esports categories. They didn't ask us to vote for any of these. They had a separate panel, I guess, putting all these ones in. But you got some good events in there. Best esports host, a lot of familiar faces like Machine, Red Eye is in there. People that I've watched in a lot of my tournaments. Best esports moments is here. OG's massive upset over LGD. You got Sonic Fox. And then this one here is Content Creator of the Year. Dr. Lupo, Myth, Ninja, Pokimane, and Willy Rex.
So
I don't know. When we were given this, it was not best content creator. Sorry, it was Content Creator of the Year. But it was recognizing a streamer, influencer, or media member.
Oh.
None of these... Okay. These are all content creators.
Yeah.
Like, flat out streamers.
Streamers, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know half of them. The ones I put down were... I don't know, kind of biased. I put down Shroud. I think Shroud does awesome stuff. I did put down Ninja, because I think he's done a lot of good for gaming in the last year. I put down Danny O'Dwyer because I like watching his videos.
Yeah.
So yeah, like there's some people there that, like, I put Danny down because I think he's more media background, but there's definitely
he's sort of a bridging.
Yeah.
You know, a bridge between the two. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's always been in media. He's always done video. Yeah, just some of these other people, I don't know who they are, which is weird, because then I don't know who voted for them. Maybe they're Region specific, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I feel like Ninja takes this one like hands down, like surely, right?
1000%.
That's how this one.
Although there's the backlash is on against Ninja recently. I don't know if you've noticed. It's very difficult for me to give a fuck, but yeah, like they've he tried to get some dude for stream sniping, and people are like, "Oh, Ninja's super toxic."
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
Anyway, that's all the awards. We skimmed over a couple, but I'm sure we'll go through them again when they announce them. It's usually good fun to watch. I haven't submitted my final voting yet. I think I've got to do that soon, but it'll be fun to go through and check out some of that stuff. Obviously, it's not like a lot of this stuff comes down to popularity voting as well. Like, not everybody's played every game, which is not the way I like to do Game of the Year stuff, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, as they say. That's the news.
Cool.
Anything else you want to mention?
No.
Cool. Any questions that we can go through?
We do have a question, yes. Do you want to check the email? You check the email, I'll read the question. The Doctor writes, "Hey fellas, you wrote this on our Discord. You can ask us questions in our questions channel, and we'll answer them on the podcast without having read them beforehand. And this one has a picture that I think we're supposed to look at, so this one might be a bit difficult. But let's see how we go. Z Doctor writes, "Hey fellas, just a couple of curious questions. Where do you think the fine line is between entitlement and frustrated disappointment from a passionate community? I saw this picture, which is the picture I'm talking about, on Reddit a few days ago, and I thought it was pretty ridiculous, some of the things these games journos are saying. I was pretty big into CODs 1 through 4 back in the day, and when Modern Warfare 2 PC fiasco happened with no dedicated servers, essentially destroying entire clan communities. From a passionate fan standpoint, it was utterly frustrating the disrespect the devs and publisher had for their fan base. Kind of like what's happened with Blizzard toward Diablo fans, but now with added games media social justice. In saying that, sometimes fans can go stupidly overboard with their outrage over some pretty minor things." All right, so where do you think the fine line is between entitlement and frustrated disappointment from a passionate community? So this picture I'm looking at, and it appears to be a collage of tweets calling out the guy who asked whether or not Diablo Mobile was a joke. Some of them are going on rants. As far as I can tell, the biggest rant in the lots is from a PR person, Will Powers, who is pitching that people who are bashing mobile gaming are an offshoot of toxic masculinity. They get off on hating something that they've traditionally associated with a female audience. I remember seeing this at the time, and I didn't respond because I didn't want to really get into a big old Twitter fight because these things never go that well. But he said there was one in his train of thought. Oh, here he goes. He said, "Painting broad strokes against an entire platform arbitrarily is toxic behavior," which I thought was pretty specifically ironic, seeing how he was painting broad strokes against an entire group of people for not liking mobile games. I just thought that was pretty hilariously ironic. Anyways, I don't think he's a game journo, but yeah, there were some reactions, some dumb news stories. At the time, I wrote that there had to be some sort of middle ground between thinking that asking a developer to his face whether or not a game that they've worked on is a joke is a dick move, because I do think it is a dick move. Like that in particular, I think you can be upset, and I think there are appropriate ways to go about it. And I understand 100% that if you'd paid a bunch of money to go to BlizzCon and you found out that the Diablo announcement you were waiting for was a knockoff mobile game, I understand being annoyed and upset about it. I just think there are much better ways than asking 4chan what you should ask. and then lying to the question screener. So I think there has to be a middle ground between that, thinking, there has to be some space where you can think that that's a dick move, and also not label everyone as entitled, every person upset with it as entitled. Because I don't think, well, first of all, I've said it a billion times, some point being entitled has turned into this ultra dirty word where nobody wants to be entitled, even though we are entitled to a lot of things. We're entitled to, clean water or clean air or a bunch of other things. And if you've paid, let's say, $100 for your Fallout multiplayer mod, then you are entitled to a certain level of quality that you're just never going to get. But the idea that being entitled is a flat out bad thing is insane to me. But it is, very common to see people run out and call people entitled these days. I don't this collage is pretty weird. It's conflating, I don't really like these collages of tweets because I feel like they try to it's an attempt to start to sick a mob onto people. I always feel these collages are an attempt to really target specific people, and so it's very easy to lump in the insane ramblings of Mr. Will Powers with the offhanded comments of another person in this list who only has a single tweet or 2 tweets or whatever, and suddenly they're labeled as just as bad as everyone else in the collage. I'm not saying that's what you said, Z Doctor. I know you said certain people, but yeah, I think it's a terrible way to get a point across, and I feel like it's always done in a ethically irresponsible way, in a way that is deliberately emotionally manipulative. That's what I feel about all of these collages all of the time. Anyway, stories that say anyone who doesn't like a game is an entitled baby or blah 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 blah. I don't think I've never understood that to be helpful. I think I said it last week or 2 weeks ago that I think that tapping in and exploiting the internet hate mob for outraged clicks is at times just as bad as being a part of the internet hate mob, because you are at some point that hate mob targets someone, and it's not always the person who wrote the article. That's I guess exactly what I'm saying about these collages, is that it's not a fucking sniper rifle. These things it's a shotgun, and the pellets spread pretty fucking far and wide, and a lot of people cop a lot of shit. So yeah, I think that the people writing stories calling people entitled babies are in some cases as bad as the non-violent elements of the internet hate mob that they're attempting to stoke the fires within. They're just as irresponsible, it's just as shitty in action. That's how I feel about that in particular. The fine line between entitlement and frustrated disappointment, I think, at the end of the day, comes down to whether you have actually paid anything. Entitlement, you are entitled to certain things if you have, you are entitled to a return on your investment. So yeah, I don't think it is entitlement if you have investment. I think people misplace what their investment is, and that's when it turns into entitlement with air quotes. But yeah, when the investment is real, then you are entitled to certain things. I just don't think that anyone is entitled to shit talk a dev to their face in front of thousands of other people. I just think it's a generally shitty thing to do. Funny, but generally shitty.
Yeah.
Thoughts, Luke?
I can't see the image, so there you go.
Dope.
Because if I yeah.
Oh, if you click on it,
it's
gonna, yeah.
Right, and I tried to look at it on my phone. It's all pixelated and shit. I can't zoom in, so yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
I can see faces, but I can't see any text.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we talked about it last week at length, so and the week before.
A little bit. Okay. Another question. Also, what have been the standout high and low moments of you guys' game media careers over the years? Cheers for all the fantastic content all these years. Luke, what's the high moment?
Eric Johnson from Valve.
Eric Johnson from Valve.
Do you know who I emailed on the weekend, Joab?
Was it Eric Johnson from Valve?
It was not. It was Doug Lombardi from Valve.
Ah.
I went and got his business card, and I was like, actually, you know what? I'll email their media person.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't get a response back. So you know who I'm going to email this weekend, Joab?
Motherfucking Eric Johnson from Valve. Dear Eric, I was asked on my podcast this week what was one of the high moments. And I will tell you what, burying that dead hooker out in the deserts out the back of Sydney was definitely one of the high moments. Eric Johnson, you pussy fiend, you are the best.
Yeah, this did not happen. No. I don't know, man. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Like, there's a lot. It's hard to pinpoint one specific occasion. I mean, for us, I guess it's the access and meeting people in the industry.
Yep.
Yeah, just crazy things like that.
I think over the entire time, a massive, what was supposed to be a 10-minute interview with Ken Levine that turned into like an hour-long talk, a 4,000-word interview, like spectacular, just a proper conversation with one of the greatest game developers, like just, I guess, auteurs ever, is definitely a highlight for me. 100%. Yeah, one of my high moments. More recently, it's like in the esports world, I guess, like a kid, Trill, got accepted onto the Team Envy contenders team in North America, which is one step away from like the Overwatch League. We published a story about him last week. Obviously, all the work was his. He did all the hard work. But I like to think that, you know, in a little way, I managed, like, my goal with Red Bull Esports Australia has always been to sort of raise the profile of Aussie players so that more people know about them, so they get more opportunities. And I think, in a way, that's 100% what we've done. And yeah, that's a more recent high moment. Low moments for me would be when a certain fuckhead specifically named me as a element of the Australian games industry that was ethically corrupt. Yeah. Didn't name anyone else, named only me, and alluded to other people in the list. And I don't know. That was definitely a low, man. I mean, fuck. I couldn't get the games mods to remove it for whatever reason. Apparently, it wasn't witch hunty enough, even though my name was out there, and I got a bunch of fucked messages about it. So that was cool. Yeah, that was probably a low moment. I mean, that was one of those moments where I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? This is fucked. Fuck all these pricks. How dare they? And what was worse was like, it was someone I'd specifically gone to bat for in a professional sense. So
yeah,
it was an extra dick punch.
And it was like this thing about, I think the whole thing was surrounded by like, because we're friends with people in the industry, like,
yeah,
suddenly because people have the same hobby, you can't talk to them. And that was his whole beef. Well, his beef was that he was in the industry and ended up getting fired from his job, and then was
Yes.
like, well, I'm airing out all my shit. The best part about that whole story is that it turned out he ended up being like fucking like a whole massive news article about him stealing all this. Like he was stealing shit. Like the dude that was accusing people being corrupt was out there fucking stealing thousands of dollars.
Literally robbing
people.
Yeah.
That's fucking nuts. Yeah, good work, dude, dickhead. I haven't said if I ever saw him in fucking life, I'd knock him out.
I'm still operating under the same principle as that. If I ever see him in real life, I'm gonna fucking deck him.
No, I don't know. I don't know any like low moments. I've never.
One time you won a competition, you went to a UFC event, and everything's been downhill since then, or
It's all been downhill. Yeah, it's all been downhill. Yeah, I have lost so much money since that event. You do not understand, Joab. Yeah.
You got this sick necklace.
Oh, yeah, I don't even know what that is anymore. It's somewhere here. Yeah, no, like I definitely don't make money off of this. Like I get money, of course, but I'm in the fucking negative. The highlights for me is like the meeting everybody and getting to access to certain things, and like, you know, I talked about last week, publishing an article with like I've got articles going out with Pete Hines, like interviewing Pete Hines for literally an hour this year. I've interviewed him for an hour in the last like 3 months.
Yeah,
not a lot of people get to do that, so that stuff is kind of cool. You know, meeting Miyazaki and Eric Johnson and Gabe Newell from Valve, and getting crop dusted by Cliffy B, and like just random, like having shots with Suda 51, going to fucking Randy Pitchford's house and seeing a magic show, just like random off the chain shit that.
Being best friends with GQ's Sportsman of the Year.
Sportsman of the Year, yeah, Robert Whitaker.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get to do some cool stuff.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I wouldn't trade it for anything. The low doesn't even come close to comparing with the highs.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Good question, Z-Doctor. And that would be our podcast.
All 3 hours of it.
3.5 hours.
Yeah.
Cool.
I told you it was going to be long.
You did.
We're just warming up to the end of the year when we do our like 6-hour show.
Yeah. Well, we still have to do a fucking spoiler show, so...
For Red Dead, yeah.
Yes. We have to do it soon before I start forgetting stuff.
I've already forgotten who's in it. Yeah. All right, should we wrap things up? You can find The Gap, the GA podcast, under iTunes, Android, Windows Store. If you search for one of those things, it should come up. If you rate and review us, it helps other people find the show. You can also send us emails if you want to the old-fashioned way, thegapodcast@gmail.com, if you have any questions, or you can find us on social media, facebook.com/GApodcast, twitter.com/GApodcast, or you can go to our YouTube page where you can watch us on video now, which is youtube.com/GApodcast. You can see Joab's sick necklace that he's wearing. It says finger licking good.
It does.
And then sometimes we do weird things like putting weird videos in the background, but not this week. That's too much effort.
We could do it. We could do it more. We could probably just record an hour of gameplay and chuck that in at some point. I don't see why we couldn't. I could do an hour of Battlefield.
Oh, then you'd have to send it to me. No, I could do it. And we'd have to watch you just sit in a fucking tank doing nothing, going for like 2-13. No one wants to see that.
Fucking whatever, mate. I've got the good AA tank now.
Yes. Now I'm 4-13.
Fuck off, dickhead. Fuck off.
No, you can watch me on the other hand, like go 23-0, and then not be revived by my teammates because they're getting jealous of my score.
We legit didn't revive him for a bit. We just let him bleed out and die so that his score wouldn't be that, his KD ratio wouldn't be that good. It was pretty despicable.
It's dirty.
It was pretty good though. Yeah, it was dirty as fuck. Actually, that reminds me of another high. Next week when we get to announce KFC sponsors us.
Okay, fair enough. Yep.
I assume.
It's about
finally. Yeah.
Yeah. You can also join us on Discord, thegapodcast.com/Discord. You can leave us questions on there like the Doctor. And a lot of other people. We can play games with us. We've been playing some Battlefield this week. We've been playing a little bit of, I guess, Fallout. Yep, and I can't click on anything else to see what else is on there, but yeah, there's fun stuff. Obviously, Blackout is another game we've been playing.
True.
Yeah, so anyway, go check that out. And if you want to see all those links, you can go to our website, which is the gapodcast.com. It's got all the past episodes of the show, which you can go watch if you want to. Some people do.
Yeah.
You don't have to, but I recommend you do.
You don't have to.
There's some good stuff in there. And that's all thanks to our Patreon members. If you want to help support the show, you can go to patreon.com/GAPodcast. Thank you to everyone that does that. Helps pay the bills.
Legends.
Makes so that other people can download the show because the server crashes, and we don't want that. And that's it.
Yeah.
I think that's all the spruiking. You can find us. You can find me specifically on twitter.com/Lawrie. That's Lawrie. Go to survivor.com. Check out some of my work. I've been pimping it for the last couple of weeks, but it finally looks like it's going up. I spoke to Pete Hines, as I said a moment ago. Specifically, these two that I know that are going up are about Starfield and TES 6 and Bethesda working with Microsoft and Sony for their next-gen consoles. So I feel like that might get some traction. I haven't, other than the news that came out, which we spoke about today, I don't think anyone's spoken directly to him about it. The other story is about game announcements and how to announce games in this day and age. And I sort of tied that into the Blizzard thing that happened a couple of weeks back. And we talk about Puddlegate a little bit as well.
Oh. Yeah, really?
Yeah.
That's gold.
Yeah.
Excellent. I'm going to check that out for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. And me, you can find me on Twitter at JobyJojo. You can head to Fandom and check out my Battlefield 5 review. But they cut it in half. Like, they literally cut it in half. I wrote fucking so many goddamn words, and they're like, no, we go for like 1,200 words, so we're going to chop it all the way down, which was pretty rough, because I get pretty attached to all my fucking words.
Just put the other half onto the website.
Yeah. Like, just complete, like, literally just the half, like, no context. Just
put it up.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, you can have a read of it. It's got most of my thoughts, I guess. I was far more eloquent. And yeah, you can check out a preview of Just Cause 4 on Fandom as well. Head to Red Bull and check out. We did a fucking story on the OSU World Cup. I'd never heard of OSU before, but this dude Andrew Amos pitched it. Australia's doing quite well. It is a rhythm game that appears to be played on like a tablet, a Wacom tablet, like with the pen and stuff. And so they draw circles really quickly, and they like draw in aim and stuff. I don't know, man. It's like, it seemed really weird, but watching it is actually pretty compelling. You do have to put up with a bunch of anime music though, so your mileage may vary. It's a good story though, and yes, Australia seems to be doing pretty well. And yeah, I'm going to be at the League of Origins finals this weekend at Margaret Court Arena. So if you are heading down, come and see me, and I guess I will owe you a beer if you are a Patreon subscriber. But otherwise, yeah, I don't know. That's about it.
When is that happening?
League of Origin.
Yeah.
This weekend, Saturday.
Right. I got an email about it, and I was like, well, okay.
Yeah.
It's in...
I will be there. Live tweeting for Red Bull and talking to the teams, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I got that email. I'm like, I don't understand what this is. It, like, did you see the one they sent today? It was not very informative.
I did not.
Yeah. It was quite strange. So you're not coming drinking tomorrow then?
No. What was I supposed to?
What isn't Farrelly's thing tomorrow?
No, I think it's not.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Classic.
Seems like, yeah, it is actually. At this point, it's traditional. Yeah.
Radio.
All right, next week, Hitman 2, Battlefield 5,
Fallout 76.
Maybe. Yeah.
Some other things.
Cool.
Thanks for watching or listening, whatever you're doing.
Yes. Cheers. Bye.